Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight we got something to talk about. How is it that we have stock market records again? You guys know why if you're part of the SSN Nation, but we got that Dominican Republic tax reform fallout to continue to talk about as well. And welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Stop struggling now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos. Why? Because the YouTube gods know that someone's in the house, and other people out here who do not know what's going on, who cannot take advantage of the situation financially, maybe they'll wake up. Now, let's get down to it. Smash the like button, share the videos, as I've already mentioned. Make sure that you go over to our Instagram. That's right, Instagram. It is Instagram. Stop Instagram.com/stop struggling now. That's what we're doing. So I'm keeping you guys abreast every live stream. Yes, we made it up to 919 on Wednesday night. I just now checked because I'm rolling live on Instagram also. And now they took away one as usual. We're back down to 918. Like I said, we can, for some reason, never go above 919. It stays at this 1919, then drops 4 or 5 people back down to 914. And you have to ask your questions. Why does it keep happening like clockwork? So go over there, sign up, make sure you check us out at Instagram. Now, let's get into the stock market because, again, and of course, our chat room is open to everybody. So you can ask questions. If there's something you want to discuss, you can always ask and discuss. It's not a closed system. We're trying to help people out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the screen, which I did not go there yet, but I'll go there now. CNBC is where we're going to eventually end up. And so you guys can see for yourself all of those people who may be behind. What you have to understand, the reason why the stock market is going up is several. But number one is some of the most valued companies on the stock market who is weighted on the exchanges, they are doing stock buybacks. We're just talking about the FANG stocks, the Facebooks, the Apples, the Alphabet, Nvidia, Google. This is what we're talking about here. So they are going to be spending over $300 billion over the next 3 years to buy their stock. All right. Buy back. That means their stock prices will all go up, and they're heavily weighted on these stock indexes. So therefore, and then when you reduce the interest rates by the Federal Reserve, now people are willing to borrow, corporations borrow more money. And when they borrow at low interest rates for interest rates only, then they're going to do same thing, buy back stocks and buy other companies to increase the value of the overall big umbrella, similar to what Warren Buffett does with Berkshire Hathaway, companies or competition. And so now they add revenues and profits to their bottom line, and they keep creeping up year over year on the stock exchange. It's not that hard to understand. So everything is going in this direction. The Federal Reserve is going to reduce the interest rate coming either, well, wait a minute. They're going to reduce it probably in December. And then the first quarter, January, February, or March. So now you're going to have 2 rate increases in the next 7 months, 8 months. So it's all going to be burning. There's no need for anything else to do. No tax cuts, no tax breaks for the rich. None of that is needed. They're already going to be have plenty of money. All right. So this is why the stock market is going to keep rocking and rolling, regardless of anybody's made up nonsense. This is the casino of the wealthy. This is why 93% of the stock market is owned by just the top 10% of the wealthiest. That's right. That's it. The rest, the 90%, only owns 7% of the wealth of the stock market. Can you believe that? That is incredible when you think about it. So when the stock market goes up, record highs like it has, who's going to be the most that's going to benefit? And I'm going to tell you, it's just mathematics. There's nothing you can do about it. If I have $100 million and you have $100,000 and the stock ETF that we're holding in VOO goes up 10%, my 100 million earns 10 million. Your 100,000 earns 10,000. We're both happy, 10%, but the wealth is massively different. That is why they get to own more of the stock market as each year goes by, because $10 million reinvested into the stock market versus 10,000. Now you understand they have a clear advantage. They don't need any other advantages, right? I think we can all agree on that. I don't need to be paying their tax bill either, right? I think we can agree on that. Now, let's see what else has been happening is even Netflix. Look at this. Everybody's getting in, but we have Stellantis to shutter and sell large proving grounds. There we go. This rail delays reach 2-year high with holiday and everyday items piling up. There we go. So now you put something in the ointment. What's going to happen there? That's going to cause shipping increases, price increases because these rail delays. So you guys can already see how this is going to go. Here we are. DJT 29.58, Nvidia 138, another dollar today. It's rising. It's going to continue to rise. Their new software comes out this quarter, sometime in the next 2.5 months. So are you guys going to be in on the Nvidia game? Or are you going to pick something else like a TSM, the chips and manufacturing facilities? Chips. United States decided to do the smartest thing on the planet. They finally had the Chips and Science Act, meaning we should produce chips in America instead of worrying about if Taiwan gets ran over by China. So once again, you have an opportunity with certain chip manufacturers. You should be on that program as well. Let me see who's in the house tonight. Let's see. I started going off a bit prematurely, but we got a lot to talk about. And it's Friday night, and it's also story night. So stay tuned. Victor Marrero, I keep wanting to say soon to be retiree, but he's already retired. He's now official. He's now official to become Mr. Worldwide. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream with that icon I love next to his name, which means he's a member of the channel. I greatly appreciate. And he brings his tagline this evening. Hello, all. Let's do this. That's what we do. We try to help you get your pen, pads, and papers ready because you never know what's going to come out of somebody's mouth. Like QQQY. See how simple that is? QQQY. Check it out. I'm just going to, Look, I knew Victor Morel might do something like this because there was dividends today for everybody that's holding YMAG and YMAX, Yield Max ETFs. And look what he wrote down. YMAX, YMAG, QQQY, IWMY, Yield Max, Group C, payouts today. That's right. I love it. Dividends, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Compensation, I see you at the Instagram. Welcome, man. Let's go. He's got that right. I saw that live stream that you had up there for a minute, man. Come on. I want to see more live streams from you. I want to see more videos from you on your YouTube channel, Instagram channels. You know I got to get you revved up, man. Come on now. Come join the party over here. All right. That's right. Victor Marrero, handling business. Dividends today. Friday night is salsa night every Friday night. Ladies and gentlemen, YMAX and YMAG and IQQQY, IWMY. Who doesn't like weekly dividends? I know. Who doesn't like weekly dividends? I don't know out there who wouldn't. Thank you, Victor Morel, for that. Brian P., Mr. Dividend has arrived. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream. He too has that icon that I love. Thank you so much next to your name. And he says, hello, Eric. I hope all is well with you. Yes, ma'am. We're still breathing. We're still here. We still rising. Hello, SSN family. That's right. And he said it best. Smash that like button. And he says it right. We are making money in here. Why? Because Victor Morel just gave off a little some of the stocks. Okay, I'll keep going with it. How about ORC, AGNC, PSEC? I know, ladies and gentlemen, I know it just keeps like going and going and going. YDTE, these are all dividend stocks. This is how you do this. Set it, forget it, go night-night, wake up, and there's dividends dropped into your brokerage account. If you still haven't opened up a brokerage account, please, down below in the description box, I have Robinhood and Webull. Download both apps, get free shares of stock. Robinhood will give you one free share of stock, but they have other offers. And Webull will give you more shares of stock, but you have to deposit some money on Webull platform, whether it's $5, $10, $100. But the point is, that's what you have to do in order to unlock your free shares of stock, but use the links down below, please. All right. Some of you may be saying, hey, Eric, what about that Dominican Republic tax reform fallout? King, 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 king. Let's hit those pots and pans in the DR tonight, tomorrow, Sunday. Oh, Victor Morel is going to be there with some pots and pans banging because he's against that tax reform bill like damn near 90% of the country. Because you know why 90% of the country's against it? It's because it affects everybody. You cannot escape. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. I did drop one video earlier today, the one that I have the PDF. Oh, by the way, the PDF. In case anybody wants that PDF to go over it, what I like about the KPMG PDF is they actually have in one column on the right-hand side that actually tells you what the law is now. And if the reform goes through, then it tells you what's being eliminated. I was like, are you kidding me right now? I was like, is this for real? It's just insane. I'm hoping this is it right here. I'm going to put in the chat room in case somebody wants to pull this out. And get the PDF. We got to keep you informed because you're an investor. If you're a real estate buyer, if you're doing business on the island, this completely changes. There is no way you're getting out of this. And I'm afraid of what I saw where any business done in the DR, even if you're a U.S. citizen, they are considering you have a tax situation, a taxable event for real estate transactions, whether they're digital on Airbnb or not. If your person is staying in the DR, you don't get to act like you're from another country. And I have other news that we have to talk. December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, that's when we're going to be in the Dominican Republic. We have a lot to talk about because we got to see the lawyers on December 2nd. So come over and join us. $199 right now for the next 2 or 3 people. Whenever it gets past a certain number, then it goes up another $50, but go to ssnlifestyle.com and come join us, because the first day we need to get tax information. All right. That's the bottom line right now. If this goes through, we need to know if, because I missed something. I didn't go over the full thing because otherwise it would have taken me an hour. But there could be an implication of 27% tax. And it's worse. It is worse by 1 percentage point. If you have an SRL and you're doing management or business or something, you could be paying 28% tax on your profits. I guess it's like you're going to be like losing money. Can you imagine 20? That's a fourth of money gone. That is significant no matter who you are. In fact, think about this. When you buy a home, your debt to income ratio to buy a home, well, they've raised it, but it used to fall under 35%. Now they allow people to get themselves in trouble by going up to damn near 50%, I heard. That's insane. But the point I'm trying to make is, think about how tough that is when the lending institutions used to have a platform. As soon as you got above 30, that was like, no, we can't loan to you no more, because after you have bills and other things to do and tax from your employment, that means really you don't make as much as what we're saying you're going to be able to afford. So they get people in trouble. And that's why, just for everybody who's in real estate, if you're buying something and there's a lender that says, we'll give you something 32, 30, anything above 32% is my recommendation. And they say, we'll give you a debt to income ratio of 32, or you need to walk away. It's that simple. You need to walk away. Do not get that loan at that debt to income ratio. As soon as you go over around 30, I got to get the numbers back up. But as soon as you go over around 31, 32%, after you go from 33 on up, the default rates rise significantly. All right. So that's why in the old days used to be under 30, 28%. But still, you as a business cannot afford 27, 28% tax repercussions. So this is very, very serious. So just keep that in mind. And Brian P., Mr. Dividend says, Friday night, just got paid. Parties bumping. We're in the house at SSN Nation. That's right. And as the old days we used to do, right? Okay. Brian P. ET. That's right. Energy transfer, ladies and gentlemen. That's another dividend fund. That'll get you around 7%. Remember those ones I mentioned earlier? ORC, AGNC, PSEC, NLY, a new one on you. How about getting 12, 13, 14% dividend annually? Now, with all that said, write down Yield Max ETFs, because they do something totally different. Round Hill ETFs, I mentioned some, WTE. All right, that's one. Just had to. And they also are doing this similar thing, but those are high risk, high rewards, because anytime somebody's going to give you 40% from the money you put in, or 50% or more, that has to be high risk, high rewards, right? So you have to understand what you're doing. So if you want to talk about it, we have guys in the house who have them. ULTY. That's right. I like it. There's another one for you, ladies and gentlemen. Paid today, as Brian P., Mr. Dividend, has said. All right. I love it. Here we go. He says, I knew he's going to say this. Hey, all right, check out your emails. No, I have not, but I will check out my emails, of course, during this time frame. All right. Victor Marrero, Robinhood is currently offering massive bonuses for transfers until end of this month. Bonuses as high as 3% of the transfer amount, regardless of the amount. That is special. Transfer 100K and get 3% free cash back. That's $3,000. Wow. That is somebody's 401k being transferred over there potentially. I like it. I love it. Thanks for that information, Victor Morel, because, hey, if you're going to transfer money into an account and somebody's going to give you $3,000 for every 100,000, that's not bad. That's actually pretty damn awesome. All right. Joe Nay, another investor. in the Dominican Republic, like Victor Marrero and myself and others. Joe Nay is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream with that icon next to your name, which I love and greatly appreciate. Good evening, SSN Nation. I'm here. I'm ready. And we keeping it 100. He's got that right. That's what we do up in here. We have to keep it real. And once again, stock market records, ladies and gentlemen. Can anybody stop this thing from rolling? I don't see how. I don't know how. All I know is this is going to be one hell of a ride. That's all I can tell you. A lot of people say, oh, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know how you don't know. It's set up perfectly for you. Let's see what else we got. Market movers, Netflix still high. I can't believe they still have not done any stock splits with Netflix. That's pretty interesting. All right. So I'm just going down here with, look at this. Patek Philippe launches first new collection in 25 years. Okay. I'm the watch guy too. I like watches. This just looks like normal Patek Philippe styling here. This is just some old renderings because, again, that face, that's been around for a while, the colors interior-wise, but hey, what do I know? $25,000 watches, $35,000 watches. Again, I don't buy Patek Philippe's because I'm not a fan like this. I just buy what I like. So what I like does not cost anywhere near thousands, all right? In fact, not even getting over a few $100 because I'm good. All right. That's what I do, because a lot of people try to sell you on these watches like you get to hold them. And then previously, up until recently, you could buy a $25,000 Patek Philippe, and then 3 years later, you could resell it for like 35 or 30. And so that's what was happening as long as you have buyers. But sooner or later, you're going to run out of buyers of people trying to hold it, just like anything else. If everybody held their stock and did not sell it, how can the price or the value increase? The only way that would happen is somebody has to sell it, and then somebody has to overpay more than what you bought it for. So that is the key with any capitalist system. All right. FICO, that's interesting. $2,000 almost. That's very, very interesting. CVS, bottom is BG. Forget that. All right. So let me know what you guys are thinking, because the market movers are right here. PODD, DXCM, RSRG. Most active, NEO, Lucid, FXI, Yang, interesting. NVIDIA, going to 150, going to 150. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we are. U.S. deficit tops 1.8 trillion as interest and debt surpasses $1 trillion mark. I told you guys. You don't want to hear anything such as tax cut, tech break. And you don't want to hear nothing about anybody getting cuts. What we want is we want mom and pops to get cuts. Why? That is the engine that fuels the whole economy. As you have more and more mom and pop businesses going out of business, that means there's less and less jobs. Now, hopefully, we get back in the swing where people are starting to be entrepreneurs. But I know it's tough out there. 9 out of 10 fail if you're trying to start something new. This is why we don't suggest starting something new. We suggest that you should buy into another business already existing. So when you buy that business, you know it's making a profit. So you know from day one that you're going to have money coming back to you for your investment. No more of this high risk, high rewards. You can try it, but it's high risk, high rewards. So we don't want you in that position, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So I'm just saying, be very, very careful out here. All right. Here we go. Eric, I was checking some townhomes for sales around my house here in Tampa area today. I was shocked. I know what you're going to say, as to have expensive real estate has gotten 2 bedrooms starting above $240K. It's insane. Well, see, Victor Marrero, listen, this is what started to happen. This is what I'm talking about. A 2 bedroom in the DR, a condo, they want 300 grand. 350 grand. This is what I was talking about. You're going to start. This is why I was like, you can just buy stuff in America if you're going to be buying 2 bedroom condos, 2-bedroom villas on an island for over 300 grand. That makes 0 sense. Over 250 grand makes 0 sense. Thank you for the validation. Oh my, see, Victor Morel's like, man, I can't believe a 2 bedrooms, 240K. He's in Florida area. That's where Tampa is, in case people do not know this watching this. So that is very funny. Are we talking about townhouses that are 2 bedrooms for 240? To me, that's normal, but California kid haven't. I mean, and by Miami standards, that's a cheap. But 240 is cheap depending on how you look at it. I don't know what area it's in, but 2-bedroom, 240. I've always been on this. You can be in a lot of places in America and get 2 and 3 bedroom townhomes, condos for under 200 grand or less. So why am I going to go out to an island and take a risk and then have some tax reform pop up? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's crazy when you think about it. Ray Pinallo, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday night live stream. And he says Punta Cana electricity is insane. See, Ray, I know it, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. A 1-bedroom, right? 1 bedroom that in DR could have, in Punta Cana, could have an air conditioning in the living room and an air conditioner in the bedroom. You're gone during the day, but because it's so warm and high humidity, it's not like you can even get a breeze in the place, right? So when you come back at night and try to go to sleep, and I'm referring to May, June, July, August, September, this is the months I'm talking about, you can't go to sleep and turn your air off and leave the windows open. It won't matter because it's just hot. You will still do like almost $10 a day. I have never left it on while I was out of the unit for 5, 6, 7 hours, right? I can only imagine how much it would be if somebody was at home, so to speak, somebody lived there. That would be insane. $300 a month for a 1-bedroom, and it's insane. Trust me. I can only imagine what it would cost for a villa or a townhome. And now, again, the taxes and the cost of electricity has to go up. Why? Because the DR has to increase their electrical capacity. They're talking about doing wind and air. That's not going to be good enough. So therefore, they have to build these stations. And what are they doing? Lagging behind. And now they're going to start taxing people so they can actually do it now, later. That's billions of dollars. Has to come out of somebody's pockets. So Ray is exactly right. It's ridiculous. It's out of line. I know. Victor Morel says real estate ownership has become a crashed dream for many. It's so sad. Well, Victor Morel, I'm not mad because you know my point of view. I look at it. I love my homes, right? I love my homes that I lived in. But the fact of the matter is, it was always a liability because I am actually paying for what it's worth. It's not like a free ride. As long as you keep staying there, you keep paying. And that's where people keep forgetting you have interest on your loan. That interest, when you talk about $500,000, $600,000, or even $300,000, if you plan on being there for 20 years to 30 years, how much interest did you pay? You paid hundreds of thousands almost. If we're talking about 300,000, you probably paid 120 to 150,000 in interest. But then you're going to say my house went up. It should go up because you're going to be paying that extra 150. You bought the house for 3. It better be worth 450 because you paid. And you don't get any repercussions. I mean, you don't get any refunds, not repercussions. The repercussions is when there's maintenance to be done on your home, you don't count the insurance that you're paying every year. You don't count the taxes you've been paying every year. $12,000. I'm paying $1,000 per month for taxes. But that's 12 grand a year. You live somewhere for 10 years. Duh, $130,000 gone, non-recoupable. And most people don't look at that as an expense and value to their house. My house better have went up $12,000 a year. And in fact, if I have a mortgage and my mortgage says I'm paying $1,000 a month interest, it better have went up $24,000 a year. Otherwise, I'm not recouping anything. What about my HOAs that are now? My HOAs used to be $67 in an area that was considered one of the prime locations to live. My friends now who live there tell me it's $400. This is the difference. That is $4,800 a year. So you start doing a 10-year increment, all of us. Oh, and by the way, their taxes now are like 15,000 annually. So now you're going to pay 15,000 a year, 20,000 a year with your HOA. No maintenance. You live there 10 years. That's $200,000 on something that doesn't have nothing to do with value. Your house goes up $200,000 and you're going woohoo. And in reality, you spent that. You paid that to live there. So to me, I've always had this thing in the back of my head. It's like a rental. And I always looked at a house as like, that's where I want to live, just to hang out. When I come home, when I come off the plane, when I come back from anywhere, this is where I want to live. That's what I choose a house for myself. So that's why you have to think differently when you're out here buying homes for yourself. Sometimes you love where you live. And so sometimes you will overpay, but you have to understand that overpayment means that money that you've been giving away could have been in the stock market earning more over the years, the 10-year time span. All right, Ray Pinala, I hear the same thing. What area in DR are you referring to? What's expensive? 200, 300 per month? Primavera 2. Hey, Ray, almost 40,000 pesos per month? What is that? Wait, what? Are you serious right now? No. Let's see what this is. This can't be what I think in my head. No. $661? It is what I thought in my head. Holy smokes. Are you kidding me right now? Hey, Ray, Panalo, what size unit do you have? Do you have the type C? The 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, upstairs, downstairs? Because upstairs, downstairs is going to cost the most. But $600? Do you have a pool? I mean, well, that's another one of my pet peeves. No pools, no jacuzzis. I mean, seriously, you have to run your sweeper. I learned the hard way in one of my homes that I loved, had the pool in the backyard, and the freaking pump went out. And next thing I know, these guys were saying some stupid numbers. They're just like, oh, we'll be able to fix this for you for like $800. I'm like, what did you just, serious? It's a pump out back. Oh yeah, well, we got to do this. We got to do that. In fact, you should upgrade. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And plus the every other week upkeep or every week upkeep for the pool guy costing me money. Again, rental. It's almost like I might as well have been paying an HOA when I didn't even have an HOA in this other home that I used to own at. This is crazy. This is crazy. What kind of unit do you own? That has to be, if you're in Primavera 2, at one time, the largest unit was 1,500 square feet, type C, upstairs, downstairs, which for everybody that doesn't know, if you have an upstairs, downstairs unit, your hot air rises, cold air drops. So any rooms upstairs, they are always going to be hotter, right? So your AC has to run upstairs. Or this is another one of those moments where I have to do the home talk. Now, I'll just say it. When you go look at a home and you say, I want 2 levels, the best thing you can do is look for 2 AC units. So then you have 1 AC unit upstairs, 1 AC unit downstairs. They're separate. So that way, your 1 AC downstairs doesn't have to power for the whole house, right? So the house is going to stay cooler. So now you have options. So you could say when the house upstairs gets a few degrees above the one downstairs, then that cuts on. But the house, the whole thing downstairs doesn't also stay on the whole time either. So there's a method to the madness. That's why you want a house generally that has 2. But maintenance wise, once you get 10 to 15 years, you have to start going, damn. Making sure my AC unit is okay, because that's when they usually break down. So decide to buy a home, all right? Because a lot of people are going to buy a home over the next few years if they can do that. AC in the DR is only for sleeping and special occasions. Every time I go there, they only crank up the AC at night for sleeping. That's what I was just saying, Victor Morero. That's what I'm trying to say. Because if you, I'm telling you, a 1 bedroom while I'm staying there cost me. Last time I was more prone to pay more attention, because I was like, damn, $10 a day, $10 a day, you stay there 7 days, that's $70. So you don't think nothing of it. But when you stay there 3 weeks, now all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, we're about to pay $210, $280, $300 for the month for 1 bedroom, no bigger than 500 square feet, and the AC isn't even on. Because we're gone in the middle of the day until 7, 8, 9. Even we're not even there 8, 9 because we're out at the bar getting a drink, listening to music. So get home around 10 or 11 and then cut the AC on from 11 at night till like 7 in the morning or something, 8 in the morning. And then obviously you're trying to get dressed and stuff. So you're like in the bedroom, you cut it on. The one in the living room's not on. But the point of the matter is that is $10 a day. If we lived there, it would probably be just like him, just like Ray. Probably be like $500 a month for the AC, which is a problem if you live there. That's why short-term rentals was going to be the play, because guess who pays for their electricity are the short-term renters. El Monte, very nice to see you once again, man. Thank you so much for being here in the SSN Nation Financial Friday night live stream. And Frasida, Beto, Francisca, I see you on Instagram. Thank you so much. El Monte, peace as well. Nice seeing you once again, man. I appreciate that greatly. Everybody, once again, smash that like button. It's Story Friday. That's right. I gave a little story about our electricity situation. So he is actually telling you the truth. He is not exaggerating. Ray Pinalo is not exaggerating, ladies and gentlemen. Believe him. $660 a month. I need to know what unit size you have. That is incredible. Are you kidding me? What's the exchange now? 57 pesos for $1. That's $701 per month. What? Do you run AC 24/7? Victor Marrero, I'm telling you, the 1 bedroom that's only 550 square feet roughly, it's less than that actually, because it only has 1 bathroom. So it's probably like 500 to 525 square feet. If I left the AC on during the day while we're gone, oh yeah, it would definitely be 600. But the fact is, I'm just like what you said. We're gone during the day, and then we come back, stay there for an hour, hang out, then go around. Next thing you know, it's 9, 10 at night, and then the AC's on all night until the next day. So literally probably 9 to 10 hours. I would just go up. 9, 10, 11 hours a day is $10 a day on a 1 bedroom condo. This is what you don't understand. If he has a 2 bedroom house, he could easily be doing $600, $700 per month with limited air conditioning, not 24/7. I wish he would come back in. Hopefully he does and let us know, because I don't think he's running it 24/7. Eric, so far our units in DR. How would you handle the electricity with the renters? Do you charge them a daily rate? Yes. Everybody pay. Well, everybody I know that I rent from, we have to pay the electricity. Seppin, I love what they have actually. Seppin has these pay places. They have these little kiosks. You can put money in like an ATM machine. You put in your account number and then you add it, and then they power up your unit. So you can prepay if you want, but you don't have to. They'll give you an account. You have to prepay though. If you don't have any money, you won't have electricity. And you can't use a debit or credit card. Has to be cash, pesos. So yeah, running around, hey, I need pesos, then that's the only way you're going to be able to pay. But that's how you do it. And yeah, every time we do Airbnb, housekeeping fee, and they make you pay for the electricity. What they used to do was they used to prepay for people and then have people pay them later. But because people would skip out and not pay, now a lot of the renters are making people pay themselves. Like they'll get there and they'll have like, I don't know, electricity will be on, but it's only on because you cut the air conditioner on. And then in the next hour or 2 hours, it could go off. You would have to know what the meter is and how to read it. You can go to Seppin and read the meter. You'll know. You can just read. Let me see. I'll even show you guys. You can go to Seppin. I can't remember the location, but I'll pull it up on my phone. And if you have, and what happens is they'll leave it on a plaque usually, and they'll give the account number for the electricity. And so then most people don't know this, which I wish they would tell people. But like, for instance, where I was staying at, here's what happens. This happens to be an actual thing that's on my thing. See the account number is that D number. And then look at this time, even though we're not there, you can see they have, it's going to be suspended when it gets up to that 25,760.5 kilowatts. So if you arrived at this unit, you can already see, and if you knew where to go to Seppin, CEPM.com for everybody in the DR, then you can go check balance. You could click on the balance, and then you'll come to a page like that, and then you enter that D number right here. You enter that D number up there, and then once you enter that number, this comes up, and you can tell how many more watts, or you'll know the extreme. You'll be like, oh, I need to go down there like now. And that's what you do. And oh, by the way, some of the exchange services, they do it as well. They'll add it on. So at the exchange place, like in Los Corrales, that's in the El Dorado Center, right next to the grocery store almost. You go to the exchange place, you say you can give them USD. You can say, I want to add $25 to this account. They'll do it. And they didn't even charge me a fee. I didn't even know you could do this. Till one day I went to the Seppin machine that's also at the El Dorado Center. It wasn't working. Somebody said, hey, you can just go pay in the exchange place right here. I was like, what? They do it for free. So I went in there. Sure enough, they did it for free. So just letting you guys know. But see, that's not everywhere. That's the thing. That's not everywhere. So again, wherever you stay matters. All right. What's around your neighborhood matters, especially if you're doing short-term rentals. So just letting you guys know that's how it works. All right. So yeah, so you have to charge them. Damn. Do we need to lock the thermostat at a certain comfortable temperature so renters can't get it below that number? The all-inclusive resorts have that feature. No, Victor Marrero, you don't have to do anything. You just put it on them. So in other words, you just tell them they're going to be paying their, on Airbnb, you can see if you go to the DR things, well, you have to read down below. They'll say you're going to be paying the electricity. If you try to do it the other way, people are going to skip out on you. So that's why everybody tells them when you get there, you pay for the electricity. That way, the other way, when I first went to DR back in the day, 4, 5, 6 years ago, it used to be take a picture of the thermostat outside. And that's not even what it's called, but take a picture outside and then come back in and send it to them. And we had this nice arrangement. Now nobody trusts anybody, like I said, because people leave. So all they do is, whether the electricity is on or not, but most of the time the hosts do leave it on. Like this one right here. Right now it's on, right? I mean, it's not on, but it's has usage. So if somebody showed up in the apartment and cut on the lights come on, the AC come on, but they'll only have these 4.6 kilowatt hours. The 4.6 kilowatt hours, because I know this will last till in the morning. It'll last all night, but in the morning, it's going to go out sometime in early morning, 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning. So you have to know that. So you have to make a decision. Are you going to the out to the machine and go refill tonight, or are you just going to wait till tomorrow morning? So just letting you know, that's how it works. And if you had a second bedroom, you may not make it till tomorrow morning for sure. It'll probably go out 4 or 5 hours later. So just letting you know. So I would let it fall on the renter. Have them you have a SEPN account, you will, and then you give them like a plaque. Well, actually, you have management. So management will handle it, right? I'm assuming. I don't know how they're going to do it, but that's how they're doing it for most places. I don't know what they do when you have a property, an overall management company. It still works the same way, though. The other places had management as well. It's the same thing. Although at one place, I can't remember the name of it. Oh, it's by La Bruja. They actually made me give them a freaking, I think it was based on the amount of days I was staying there. And so then they said I need to give them a deposit for the electrical. I was like, okay, this is different. But then she finally said, no, it's all right. But I was like, that is wild. I was like, I'd rather just go to the machine and pay it myself. Why am I don't even want to give you money up front. You know what I'm saying? I'll just go pay it myself. The thing is right down less than 50 yards away, right? Is where the machine was. But yeah, no need to worry about that, Victor Moreau. The onus is on the renter. All right. Ray Pinalo. Come on, man. You can't leave us hanging here. Let us know what unit you own. Diablo, Tease. I see you guys on Instagram. Make sure you hit the follow button over there. You know why? We're trying to get over 920. Every time we get up to 919, 920 is the highest I believe it ever went, but I can't even really remember going to 920. But let's just say it did. But for whatever reason, Instagram starts taking followers away. We go usually downward. We are now at 918 after we were at 919 on Wednesday and yesterday, quite frankly, because I checked. And then we're done. So that means we need more people to go over to Instagram, sign up, because I want to see if we can actually do this, because it's kind of funny how they keep taking away followers. Kind of funny how this works on this social media that people believe is open. I find it hilarious. I used to be a computer geek, ladies and gentlemen. There's all kind of algorithms that you could put in to play. If this, basically, it's nothing more. You're telling the program what to do. If this, then this, right? That's literally what you're doing. So if this happens, then we do this. And I can actually put in a program to say, hey, if this goes up to 920, then we take away 4. I can do that. Or take away whatever number. I can even make it a random generator. Back in the old days. All right. I don't write programs anymore. All righty. So don't get confused, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a hacker. I'm not that guy no more. We're not as dangerous as we used to. I've been in the chill zone for a while. All right. But don't worry about that. Now, stock market record highs, Dominican Republic tax reform fallout. Okay. Let's get into that a little bit, because we have a lot of investors from the Dominican Republic here. So let's see what you guys want to talk about with, oh, wait, I don't have it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm just going to pull some things up. Let's see here. Something you may not have seen before. Textile industry. Here we go. I want to pull this one up. Is it going to come up? We'll see. This may take a second, but if it comes up, that'll be awesome. We will see what happens. We'll let it sit over there for a second. No, I got a new idea now. I like it by accident. I can be on screen while it's trying to populate. And I don't even know where it is. Oh, there it is. Okay. I see where we are now. Lionel Fernandez criticizes tax. You know, actors are the hard-working people. That's what it is. Hard. All right, I see we got an issue here. Oh boy. If I get disconnected, I'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Don't worry about it. Having renters pay for electricity, is that pretty? It's very typical. But you know, you have you have like Margaritaville, right? Just like I have my timeshare condo hotels, so we don't have to worry about this. It's like built in, right? It's seamless for us. Everybody else who has standalones, this is why I've always been like a little. This is often caused by an unstable internet connection if you're on Wi-Fi. Okay. Up, it's normal. It's normal because when you think about it, Victor Moreau, you don't have a check-in center. Think about, you don't have a check-in place. You're not at Margaritaville. You're at your house. Think about it this way: you're at your house, and you're renting your house. So when the person comes, are you willing to just allow them to run up the electric bill? See, that's the thing. In DR, it's built in because of the way their system is archaic. You can pay your bill using SEPN. So you don't have this open pay next month kind of thing going on. So you have to pay on demand, so to speak. You can prepay $500 if you want. But if you're doing short-term rentals, there's no reason for you to do that. You're just going to have the renters just go pay. So that's why everybody has renters that go pay, because everybody has to pay SEPN. There's no way around it. There's no credit. Now, from what I understand, there are a few people that do get credit, but all I'm trying to say is generally nobody that I've ever stayed with gave me credit except for one person. And that was 4 or 5 years ago. After that, everybody right now, you're going to pay SEPN. Here's the number. Here's the account number. Here's where the SEPN machines are. There you can go up, re-up. So it's a normal thing. You don't have to feel bad. If you can make nobody have to pay electricity, that's always better. That's what you're probably doing at Margaritaville, and that's what I do at my places because it's included. The electricity is included, and if they leave it on all day, all night, it does not matter. It's included in my payment, my HOA, and it's included in the rental fee. So either way, I'm good. So that's what's so beautiful about it. So you're not jamming them up. It's a normal thing, especially in the DR. All right. Other islands, I always stay in condo timeshare locations. All right. Condo timeshare hotels. That's what I usually stay in because I like my 1 bedroom. I like my living room. I like my kitchen. I like my patio, balconies, whatever. So I don't really like hotel rooms. I like a condo environment better than a hotel environment. Just so you guys know. All right. Let's see. Anything else? Here we go. We have somebody that's a little upset. The man says, I'm a little upset. Lionel Fernandez. Short and sweet. All right. Sharply criticize the tax reform proposal from President Louis Abinader's government and the Modern Revolutionary Party, PRM, arguing that it disproportionately impacts the most vulnerable sectors. In a post on his X account, oh, that's cute, referred to proposal as fiscal bombshell, asserting that the poorest and middle-class citizens would bear the majority of the tax burden. Okay, he's right, and he's right because there's the way he's saying it. First of all, there's more people with less money than there are people with a lot of money. So when in his view, he's right, because a 27%, 18% tax on a person who makes $10,000 a year is a totally different tax on a person that makes $200,000 a year. The impact. The person making $10,000 a year can barely get by. So therefore, them having to pay 18% is significantly more. So that's what we're talking about. That's what he means by this. And since there's way more low, poor, middle class citizens than there are rich people by numbers, that's why he's saying it that way. But I will say this. If you guys missed the Dominican Republic PDF that I went over, the rich people can't escape. Unlike America, they're not escaping. They're paying the same taxes for their money. So if the guy makes 100,000 and the tax rate is 18% that they got to pay and 27% that they got to pay, then they got to pay $27,000. There isn't no loopholes like we have here. All right. They have to pay the consumption fee. So if the bottle of alcohol costs $4 more, then he's paying that consumption fee. He can't skirt it, right? So these are some of the things that are in place. He has 2 vehicles. He's paying for his vehicle registrations and tag fees for each vehicle every year. Can't skirt it. That is why so many people are upset. Because they're like, holy smokes, are you kidding me right now? I can't keep this up. I'm pissed. I got to pay. The textile sector is upset, which I won't get into. I already mentioned that last week or on Monday. I'm just going to go down a list because I'm going to make a video about this tomorrow. I meant to make part 2 earlier today. But I wanted to point this out right here more than anything else. But that way too. I don't mind. But you can see everybody's in uproar over this. No real cut loser except people who make less money. Johnny B, Fence Lamont, Masi Perez Torres, welcome to the SSN Nation Instagram style. Make sure you follow, please. We're into this Dominican Republic tax reform. And so therefore you can see on the screen, we just have a bunch of people that's upset. That's the domestic textile. I don't know why I can't get my other screens up, but it is what it is. Everybody's upset. This is just crazy. So what I'm going to do is I wanted to pull this up. This is going to be a black screen for a minute, I think. Well, it'll be a black screen. Let's just call it what it is. It'll be a black screen. All right, here we go. Let's see. Oh, we're at the end. Okay. Well, we can't get this up. I want this other thing up and I can't get there. This is damn shame. I wanted to pull this next section up is because government expects tax reform to take effect in 2025. And I wanted people to know that that's what they had planned on. So this is more serious than you know. And I've spent all day trying to ask people how to move a bill or a law forward in the Dominican Republic. How many votes do you need in the deputies, which we would call House in America, the House, and how many votes do you need in the Senate to pass? Well, all I know is Louis Abinader and allies have more than 50% in the Senate. Louis Abinader and allies have more than 50% under the deputies. So the question is, do you need more than 50%? Do you need 51% or more to pass in both the deputies chamber and the Senate chamber? But so far, nobody in the DR can tell me. And I'm like, how do you not know? So you guys don't even pay attention to what they're doing to you. You're doing taxation without representation. That's crazy. You should be knowing what your government is out here doing. This is insane. What your person that you voted for to represent your province, you need to know what they're doing. Oh, man, it's crazy. I've been on forums, I've been on YouTube sites, I've been on everything I can think of. I've contacted people. I haven't contacted Johan and Glennie yet, but I'm like, is this for real? I can't believe citizens don't know how you make laws in the DR. This is insane. But hey, it's just like people in America don't know the the House in America votes for funding. So if somebody says, hey, I don't like that so-and-so is funding whatever, then you need to think about who controls the House, because only the majority party can bring a bill to the floor to vote on. And if the majority party doesn't want to allow the minority party to bring a bill to the floor, or don't want to present a bill to be voted on to be funded, they just go another direction. They don't do anything. That's what you have to understand. So there's an impact if you sit idly by and you say, hey, why didn't our government fund this? And I'm like, well, who controls the House? Okay, well, whoever controls the House is going to have to bring it up for a floor vote, and then you'll find out who's voting for what. I don't go by rhetoric. I go by what you vote for. So if somebody tells me I'm worried about immigrants and I want a border bill, then I go and say, oh, well, if we do a border bill, that means we have to have funding, right? You're going to have funding for equipment and additional border guards and all this. And you're going to have to make laws. And so that means the House has to get the funding in order. So they have to talk. But if you have majority, you don't have to talk to anybody, right? Now, you also don't have to bring it to the floor. But when it comes to the floor, and then you go look at who voted to pass the funding bill for the border so they can have more equipment, more patrol and all that, and you go, hey, man, and then you see these guys on TV going, we want to protect the border, but yet you see them voting against a border bill, you have to start going, are you playing me right now? I just saw what you voted on the floor of the House. And the Senate also has to agree. Now, again, the same rules apply. You have to have whoever's the majority in the Senate has to allow to bring the bill up to vote. Well, once again, I go to see what happened at the Senate. But guess what? The House bill passes, right? So if the House bill passes, I go and see who voted no and who voted yes. And I see a whole bunch of people who voted no out here talking about, we want to protect American citizens. We want a border bill. I'm going, didn't you guys all vote no? What are you talking about? Then you go look at the Senate bill and you say, okay, let's see who voted at the Senate. And then you're like, wait, you guys over here all voted no. And then you had a few guys on this side vote no, so it didn't pass. But a whole bunch of people on one side said, we don't want to pass the border bill. I'm like, now why are you out here saying you worried about the border when you guys are the ones that said no? Your whole damn side says no, except for 4 people. This is crazy. So all I'm saying is, this is why you don't go by what you see on TV. You go see what people are voting for real. That's real. The stuff you see on TV, edited stuff, the social media garbage, that's all fake. You need to go see what your congressmen and senators are voting for in whatever country you're in. Otherwise, you're going to be asleep at the wheel. So that's my talk right now. Here we are. Let's go. Victor Morrell says, the fact that the DR president and his cabinet were just reelected this past May for 4 more years tells me that approving this law won't affect their party for at least 4 more years. Victor Marrero, they're the ones bringing it forth. They have the majority. They have the majority for his party in the deputy chamber and the Senate. And that's why I was asking the question, if anybody can tell. In fact, maybe your wife might know. If anybody can tell me what is the majority in both chambers, that matters. He has enough votes in the Senate. He does, and he has enough. He has over 90. Okay, first there's 190 deputies in the House. I'll call it the House, but it's called the Deputies Chamber or something like that. 190. Abinader's party has 88, right? But he has allies. So he has the 95 votes that it could get there. All he would really need is just the other bipartisan, somebody else to go, hey, man, why don't you come over here and do this? We'll put you on this committee or whatever the hell. Somebody, he'll get 2 or 3 or 4 votes, right? So he'll have enough to pass if it's a simple majority over 50%. But if you need 60%, he'll still get there in the Senate, but he can't get there in the House. He's going to need somebody. He's going to need some other people in the House on the other side to agree to have it. And so that's why I needed to know, how do you pass bills in the DR? Because if you just need simple majority in both houses, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's going to happen. It's going down. All right. So don't fool yourself out here. It would be a serious wrap, and it would be very, very bad for all those that is in DR and visiting DR. You guys know what I mean, right? All you guys following Diablo 15 T's, Beato Francisca, Fracita, I see you, Mr. Compensation. All right, let's get down, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so he's not the problem. He wants to do it. So, and again, I'm gonna say something. You guys are gonna get a little preview. I think you're gonna get a preview here. Let me see. Yeah, you're gonna get a preview. I'm gonna show you a preview of something right now. This is probably gonna be in part 3. So here's why DR is doing this. There's always something that has to do with money, just so you guys know. And I'm going to show you the IMF. Here it is. This is what's happening. International Monetary Fund. And you know who's some of the head honchos there. United States is one of them, right? The rest of the world in the EU zone, the IMF, Australia, right? So here is the report, right? That's the report that you can see. So it's pretty plain and simple. International Monetary Fund. I'm going to skip through all this, and I unfortunately can't give this to you yet, but I want you to see something. I'm going to go down to, let's see, number 26. Is that what I want? Hold on a second. Okay, I'll do it this way. This is when you have to understand, these guys come to America, the Dominican Republic, comes to America, some of their officials, they come to the IMF, and then they ask the IMF, hey, man, we are trying to improve our country so we can get in on the global economy, global markets with lending and banking and all this. Then the IMF starts giving out suggestions, which is what this is. This is a report about the Dominican Republic. So I'm going to go through all this only to show you what I'm going to do in a video, starting here at number 25. You can see right here, it says savings and loans cooperatives require a more effective regulatory and supervisory framework. So you see, this is what they're saying, require a more. So that means the banking system is still not proper yet, accounting for a relatively contained portion of the financial sector assets. See, large cooperatives of similar size as small banks, these entities are subject to the oversight of this Cooperative Development and Credit Institute. Who do you think that is? You know it's not the Dominican Republic people, and they're going, wait a minute, we don't want to really, because you know we're maybe doing some shady stuff, but they got to get all this together. All right, so here it is. The authorities are considering initiatives to strengthen the existing regulatory framework, which dates back to the 1960s, including introducing prudential measures that are more aligned to those already implemented in the banking sector, improving data collection, and implementing a risk-based supervisory approach. So CDR has to give up control. They have to be like allowing IMF to overlook what they're doing or overview what they're doing, not overlook, because this means they're not going to be overlooking it, but they want to view what they're doing and put it in and be supervisory because they want them to be with everybody, meaning the EU, meaning USA, meaning like Australia, UK systems, like going out to Africa, right? So this is what you have to do. Here it is. 26 is the kicker. The authorities are committed to a comprehensive fiscal reform. Here it is. The reform would increase revenues from improved tax administration and tax reform and rationalize public spending. There you go, ladies. Authorities' views. This right here is why this tax reform has to go through. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to borrow cheap money from the United States or the EU zone. That's what their goal is, right? They don't want to have to pay 8% or 7% or 6% to borrow money. They want to be like the big boys. They want to be able to do 2%, 1%, interest only type stuff. That's what they're doing. So see, right here is why the DR, regardless of all the uproar, it's going down. All right. This requires a reform of public administration that improves spending efficiency through the reduction of the number of public institutions, avoids the duplication of functions, strengthens the mandates and capacities of entities, and ensures that they work in a more coordinated, effective manner. So this means they have to overhaul their financial system at the same time. So all these taxes, that's what's going to be used for, plus some more infrastructure at the same time. But they have to, this is big time stuff. All right. Big time stuff. This is stuff like when you wire money and we have to wait 7 days to find out if it's wired to the DR most of the time. This is going to be just like trying to wire it to the United States, where you wire it this morning and it could be there today. That's what this is what DR is trying to get their banking and all that financials. And it's going to take a lot of money. They can't borrow it, right? And look here, the authorities assess the financial sector as resilient, profitable, and will continue to monitor developments as part of their ongoing supervisory activity. See, they're being monitored. So again, do you understand what's happening? This is why Abinader and these guys have been working on this for 5 years. This isn't like new. 5 years they've been under this supervisory situation. So unless they do what number 26 says, they can't even get in the game. You can forget it. They're just like, here's our supervisory notes. We're telling you what to do. If you don't have this done, then you can't get anything else done. This is why it's going down. Now, as far as when it's going to be implemented, the DR is like, they said it. They're trying to do this in 2025. Here it is, the anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism. Here we go again. You guys, if you bought anything there, you notice how they always ask you for your bank's statements, and may ask for something else, right? So they want to make sure this is right. And here's the anti-bribery management system that you got to put in, update their national risk assessments, all this stuff expected by year end. This year end. See, they have to put all this in. So you guys don't understand. They don't want to wait till 2026. They don't want to wait till 2027. That's why this tax reform proposal looks weird, because they're like, we got to do everything. So we got to get money from anywhere and everywhere to make this happen, because the payoff is we'll be working with the IMF and we'll be working with the banks in the United States and our banking system with the US, which is what I'm against. But it looks like they're trying to do it, right? That's what they're trying to do. Electricity sector. Look at this. Losses increased to 36% in 2023 and subsidies remained high. Subsidies for their electrical system is insane. This is crazy. 1.1% of GDP driven by rising demand, high temperatures, a drought. And now they're going to use hydro generation and some other things. And weak metering systems and electricity tariffs remaining frozen. So now you know tariffs. And that's why there's going to be taxation on your electricity as well. That's going to go up. Everything has to go up. Now you guys are getting an idea of why the Dominican Republic is coming out with this anti-people tax reform bill, because their goal is, they're thinking like this: if we get to do this tax reform proposal, there's going to be pain, but the pain we can live with, because if we get that in place, we'll be able to make up for it with business in the Dominican Republic from the United States and the EU zone. All the consumer nations will then say, well, now it's worthy because we can trust buying land there. We can trust leaving hundreds of millions of dollars in a bank account. We can trust. That's where the problem is, right? Who wants to leave $100 million in a bank in the Dominican Republic? Probably nobody. So you have to have everything in place. So now you'll have investors believe, the big boys, you know, the guys who's going to make those data centers that are worth billions of dollars, right? They'll come, but they ain't coming now because they're like, are you serious right now? Well, we know people that bought land and had problems. We know people who had money taken out of their bank accounts. So you're missing a whole large percentage of a industrial revolution that could occur. And that is why the government says, forget that. We're just going to go do our thing and get this money, get it right. So the IMF says, you guys are good. That's what their goal is. That's what they're going to do. So this is why I think once we figure out what it takes to pass this thing, then we're going to know if it's going to pass. And for what I understand, they call this thing a bicameral, something along that line. And from what I understand, this is crazy. You have to vote twice, they say. I don't understand that, but that's what they're saying. So we'll see how it goes. But their agenda is to have this effective January. And since they control the party, I'm assuming they can bring the bills to the floor and make a vote. So I guess it could happen. All right. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Oh, he came back. Ray Panalo, he has the 3-bedroom villa. He has that type C. Hey, Ray, do you rent yours out on Airbnb? Because you do know this tax reform bill, you're going to be paying taxes. Well, you already pay taxes, but what I mean is they're going to tax Airbnb. So your cost to the consumer might rise. I'm anticipating 18% the VAT. I think they're going to do the VAT. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. So whatever you're charging now is going to cost the people the Airbnb fee plus potentially 18%. I don't know what it's going to be for sure. It'd be very disappointing if it was 18% instead of 5 or 5% or less. But they're doing a money grab straight out. And what better place to get a money grab from than Airbnb? So of course they're going to say, I would do it. Let's just put you in their shoes. I need money. We have thousands of Airbnb units. We have hundreds, up to 1,000 being rented every day. So why wouldn't I want out of a 100? What is their the average in La Altagracia? I thought was 80. Was it like 80 some dollars a day, right, in the whole province? So I don't know what it is on the whole island. I should go look at Airbnb ticks, but let's just use the $80, 82. I'll say 80. Let's use the $80. So if they're getting like 1,000 things, and you know that's $80,000 a day, and that's 18%. So that's almost 14. What is that? 14%? Or I mean, 14,000 a day, 300 and some thousand a month. just in that province. Now you add all the rest of the provinces, this is millions of dollars a day. So that's why they're going to add it on Airbnb versus relying on you to pay them. They'll just have Airbnb take the money out of the payment and have it sent to them directly. So that's where they're going with this. So to me, that's not good. Sojourner, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday night live stream. Sojourner, hello. Wikipedia says Dominican Senate has, yes, 32 seats, exactly. Abinader's PRM party, yes. And they hold 24 seats, yes, of the 32. Yes, that's what my point is. No, that they're not cooked yet because we need to know what the majority is. We can see on the first one, oh, yeah, he added the allies. Yeah, the PRM with the allies hold 24 seats. He is correct. The other part, though, it says including allies, they hold 29 seats. Okay. I thought it was 17 seats that they were holding. And then I thought 24 was them. But okay, if it's that way, fine. Either way, they have the majority. They can get it done. If it's a majority, what if it's 2/3 or 3/5? See, that's what I want to know. I want to know what the number is because 24 seats may not be enough. All right. 29 seats could be gray areas. So all I'm saying is that is correct. But what about the deputies chamber? We need to know what the rules are. In fact, we need to know what the rules are with the Senate and the deputies chamber. We need to know because you can already see right now, like Sojourner said, everyone is cooked if it only went by the Senate. But it's not by the Senate. We need to know what the deputies are. Everybody will be cooked if it's a simple majority. And a simple majority, the PRM, they have the simple majority. There's 190 in the deputies chamber. PRM has 88 seats. They need 95. I think with them and their allies, I don't think they reached the 95. I think they fell short by 1 or 2 votes, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the one thing. In fact, I have it. Let me go look. I have it. I mean, I'll just look it up now. It's on my, in fact, I'll bring it over for you guys. Let me see if you guys can see this. No, you can't see it. Check this out. Here it is right here, quite frankly. Here it is. 30. See, they have 17 seats needed for a majority. Oh, okay. Well, then it's a wrap. I didn't even see this yesterday. I was looking all over. 17 seats needed for majority. So they already have it. They got 24 seats. So the Senate, it's going to pass. It's a wrap. 96 seats. Oh my God. It's a wrap. So it's a simple majority. 96 seats. The PRM has 134. It's a wrap. If this is correct, is this 2020? Yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So all these people who said it can't happen, I didn't even realize this was here. I was looking right at it the whole time, and I've been hitting up all kind of people. 96 seats, Chamber of Deputies. They have 134. That's under PRM. Nobody can stop them. Nobody can stop them. Look who's here. Leonel Fernandez. He's the guy that's going, no, this is not cool. Don't do it. You're going to hurt everybody. You guys can hit pots and pans and do whatever you want. But unfortunately, the PRM, he's got his allies and him at 134. And over here, PRM has their allies at 24. So they get it. They got 17 seats. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. There's nothing anybody can do here. I'm sorry to say, ladies and gentlemen. Central American Parliament. I don't know what that means. Oh. Yeah, the Central American Parliament. Here we go. Okay, yeah, they go down there. That's cool. I kind of like this. I wish America had something like this. This this parliament that can go for the different areas, different countries. That would be so cool, but we don't have that. We just have what we call NATO, and Geneva Convention teams. But that would be so freaking cool. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this reiterates. Now that I know, it's a wrap. Sojourner, thank you, man. You made me go look and pull that up. It's a wrap. This is going down. This is going down. Oh, by the way, there's some people that are pissed. Dominican people are pissed that they say, oh, they have too many government officials. And I'm like, you know how they pick the Senate? They have one person from each of the 31 provinces. Jeez, I can't even speak these days. I'm getting too old now. But anyhow, territories. I'll just change it to that. 31 territories. They get one member in the Senate. So that's kind of cool. And then the 190 members are basically goes by the number of people you have, the population, with the number of seats based on the population, similar to the United States with the House. So it's similar to the House. So that's kind of how they pick it. So you can't be mad at that, right? Santo Domingo is going to have more seats. Punta Cana area is going to have more seats, right? Sosua, Puerto Plata is going to have more seats. I mean, so you can't be mad at that. That's how it should be. And the government system like this, I like too. The American system, I do like, but it was before, it wasn't supposed to be majority rules. Or what I mean is minority rules, because you can have the House and the Senate and still lose the overall vote in America, and they get to make rules for more people that voted against what they wanted to do than who voted for what they wanted to do. And so that has what turned out. We now have a side in the United States, and in the DR, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a side there too. So they're going to be able to just roll over everybody and do whatever they want to do. Okay, so we've established that. Now Victor Morrell has woke up along with everybody else. Come out of your coma who owns Airbnb and who wants to do business in the DR. You can come out of your coma now. Now that we know the majority is in the hands of the PRM and the PRM wants to pass this thing, it's going to pass. All right, we have to redo the Airbnb numbers again with this tax reform. No longer a rumor. It's getting real. Yeah, Victor Morrell, it's going down. Now that we know, I didn't even see that majority thing. I've been asking people all over the place, and there it was on Wikipedia that I had up all night, all day. And I didn't even look at that little fine print majority. 17 in the Senate, 96 in the chambers, the deputy chambers. So that's pretty interesting. And they want to do it by January 2025. I don't see what's holding them up. Unless there's some sort of procedural thing or people, the Senate, the deputies, all the deputies aren't on board with the PRM and going to vote against it because all their, citizens are like, don't do it, man. Don't do it. You never know. There you go. Hey, Eric, Brian P., I just sent you a news story to check out. Okay, I'll check it out, man. Sojourner, he says, well, thanks for looking into all of this so deeply. Not too many Dominican content creators are even talking about this. Sad. Damn, Sojourner, that is sad, because I don't know why this should scare the hell out of everybody. Every person that lives there, people who visit, they can just land and they're discretionary. They can say, well, I won't buy this. I can leave. I don't, they're there for a week. The average time anybody spends in the DR when they're tourism is 6.5 days. So basically a week. The people that live there, like you, Sojourner, I don't understand why the content creators that live there haven't been talking about this, because once you determine that they can actually vote without any approval from anybody, it's going to happen. So like we were talking about, Sojourner, on Wednesday night, Jaway J brought up the point that I thought when they were talking about doing the deportation of the Haitians, and it was like 10,000 a week, and then it ends up with an announcement, we transported 118,000 Haitians, and all of a sudden tax reform drops. And I'm like, oh, they were trying to do a misdirection. They're learning from the United States. They dropped that bomb only to put in this tax reform. It's been out for like a week now, 10 days. Abinator and crew did their thing August 19th. Silently, I'll say it's incredible. And then all of a sudden, late October or early October, we find out about it. And then we find out they're trying to do it January, which is even scarier to me. I'm just like, what do you mean you're going to do this in January? This is crazy what you guys are doing. And they have it. I can't believe it. They actually freaking have the damn power to do it. And this is why. Oh, and the other thing, it's been going for 5 years silently. So for 5 years, people, just like in America, don't even know that Abinator was for this all along, and the PRM party was going to do this all along. And then you guys went out here and voted and said, oh, he's all good. He's all right. I said he was all good, all right, because, hey, I was thinking he was all down with investment. He was all down with investments until he's not, because now he's realizing, oh, I want to be a part of the IMF. I want to play with the USA. I want to play with the gringos that steals everything. Okay, don't let me get started. I'm like, I don't know what the hell he's doing. That's craziness to me. But anyhow, I'm sorry, Sojourner. I just had to go down this, man. I'm like from a foreigner. If I'm not in America, right? You have American history all over the world. America is a young country. Hell, the island of Hispaniola is older, considering United States just started like 400 or 500 years ago. The island of Hispaniola is older than the United States. This is crazy. Inhabitants. So my point is, the history of United States is written all over the world, and the United States rewrites their own history, and the people around the world are like, what are they talking about? What they're saying is a lie. That ain't what happened. Why are they making their American citizens believe they're all this and that in a bag of chips when they honored 100% of all treaties they didn't honor? The United States never honored 100 plus all their treaties. They always never honored. So why am I going to enter into a deal with the same people if I'm the Dominican Republic? Seriously. I'm just saying, it gets me mad. I'm a minority in America. All right. I'm one of those people that they didn't honor their word. All right. Jesus. Okay. All right. I won't go off on this tangent tonight. I'll sit here and talk about the stock market records. We'll talk about the Dominican Republic tax reform fallout, but everybody knows I'm dropping a video tomorrow about this, and it's going to be about the IMF. So you guys got a preview of what I'm going to be talking about in the video. You can easily say that part there that you saw, number 26, where they said we're going to be, you can join us and we're watching you, but you got to do your tax reform situation. And Abinator got the thing out. Now let's go back to Ray Pinalo. He says he has this 3-bedroom unit, and I'm thinking this is a type C. They have a 3-bedroom that's 1 level as well, which is an L shape. And then they have the 3-bedroom that's 2 levels. I'm assuming with that $600 price tag every month for electricity. Damn, that is insane, man. I just thought of something. My 4,000 square foot plus house, the AC, electricity, heating, everything is $400 a month when I'm there. Actually, it's $400 a month when I'm not there. But the point is, it's $400 a month. That's in America for 4,000 square feet. His 3-bedroom villa is not even more than, he's either got the type C, which is 1,500, or he has that L-shaped one, which is, I don't think it's 1,500 L-shape. I think it's more like 1,200 square feet or something like that. And he might have a pool, which we need to know that too. If he has a pool, then he has the sweep. And that's one of the reasons I told people in the DR, don't do the pool, don't do the jacuzzi, don't do any of it. Electricity costs an arm and a leg. And every time you do not have a renter and you don't have your sweeper running or your filtration system running every day or every other day, it's hot there and humid. So your algae can grow faster. So you're going to need the pool guy coming and all these guys happening every week, every other week, regardless if you're renting. So if you're not renting in slow season like now, and your house is or apartment or townhome or whatever is vacant for 3 weeks, well, when the people show up, either you're going to have to do shock treatment a day or two before the people arrive, or you're going to have to keep the filtration system running. So take your pick. Either way, it's costing you money, extra money for no reason. So again, we've talked about this from an investor standpoint. This is why Victor Marrero is at Margaritaville. He knows some of his owners there. We've talked about this before. They are trying to get rid. They don't even have their jacuzzi units hooked up with water. Just like in the DR, you notice whenever they show jacuzzis, and they always generally show they're empty, and they say, yeah, when you come here, you know, you have a jacuzzi, but you don't see anybody leaving water in there. It's hot, it's humid, it's going to deteriorate so fast, your head will swim. And then you have to dump the water and put some more fresh water in. How's that going to work? I have yet to hardly see any places. In fact, I haven't seen one place that has a water spigot up top on the terrace. So I don't even know how they're going to do the water situation at all in the first place, let alone maintain this situation, unless they're going to be doing it. Victor Marrero has his Corner Rock Galaxy that's going to have penthouse units. So maybe up there they might, but there's hardly any penthouse units that I've been in that have some way to add water to their jacuzzis up top. I'm just saying. All right. So that is one of those things. But anyhow, 3-bedroom. So we will see. You're so correct regarding the pools or jacuzzis. Even here in Orlando at Margaritaville, my owners regret getting the jacuzzis. In fact, many of them are selling them. Exactly. There's no way around it. It looks nice, and you get the renters that go, oh, do you have a jacuzzi? Do you have a jacuzzi? But see, the thing is that people don't realize that is not even in something that they order all the time. That is like in my years of doing rentals, it's literally 1 out of 10 people has ever asked me, do you have a jacuzzi on the deck, on the balcony? It's 1 out of 10. It's not what you think. It's not like 9 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 or 50%. It's like 1 out of 10. And it's also 1 out of 10 that would ask for, if it's not the jacuzzi on the balcony, do you have a jacuzzi tub? And that's another issue as well. A jacuzzi tub. I have something to tell you. You still have to have somebody clean it, right? Because there will be a ring. Everybody sweats, grease, and whatever. And you're in there and you're using soaps and stuff. So somebody has to come clean it out. But what they don't tell you is, you know, when you fire up the faucet, when the water comes out the jets, what people don't understand is you cut the jacuzzi off, you clean it up, there's still water inside the jets. And guess what happens if nobody uses the jets for a month or two? Mold builds up inside the system. I know, right? So now you don't realize it because you're like, oh, it's all clean, it's all nice. You fill it up, put on the pump, all of a sudden you start seeing black stuff coming out. You're like, what the hell's going on? It's because you didn't dry out the inside where the water comes out through the jets. There's these little puddle areas where the water can just stay there. And that's one of the things that people don't realize. So once again, this is why a lot of motel, hotels, Holiday Inns don't have jacuzzis any longer inside the rooms, because they're just like, damn, people don't even use these half the time. And then when they do use them, we're getting calls going, hey, man, there's something in the water. And it's because we got to get this all dry. Bring the blow dryers and stuff, man, getting it all dry. Yeah, I know. That's another one of my things. My houses used to have those too, and that's what would happen. That's why I know. And then Vino Bello, one of my favorite places, they have them. I know. They would tell people, oh, we got jacuzzi. We got the room has an issue. Can you wait about 45 minutes to an hour? It's because they actually had to get the damn jets set right. Because most people, when they go to Vino Bello, they probably might use the jacuzzi because there's a fireplace. It's a nice setting. So people have to wait an hour or two before they can check in. Yeah, this is a thing. So that's why you have to pay attention from a rental standpoint. It's not worth it to have a jacuzzi tub, nor jacuzzi on the deck, nor a swimming pool. I know it looks nice. I know there's people that say, oh, it's got a pool. I can do it. Don't do it is my recommendation. Especially when the place has a pool. Like at Primavera, for instance, they have a pool. They have three of them. So you don't need a pool at your villa. And the fourth one is at the fifth. They have 5 pools, but they're at the condo, so you can't go into the 2 condo sections. So there's really 3 pools for people that own villas. But the people in the condos, they just go downstairs and they got a pool. That's part of the HOA. That's much better, quite frankly, right? But as far as a villa having a pool, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of any water features at a condo, pool, townhouse. Forget about it if I'm renting. If you live there, so be it. All right. All right. Keep in mind, you have jacuzzis at the main pools. That's right. That's part of the resort amenities. It isn't only the electricity, it's the maintenance. Exactly. Here at Margaritaville is $100 per month. That's insane. What? Wow. That is insane. Jeez, $1,200 a year. Just for that. That's crazy. I know, ladies and gentlemen. This is wild. This is why anybody who comes here, I don't sugarcoat everything for you going, hey, this. You have to know. I sugarcoat. I'll say, hey, this is a good idea. No credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry, right? But then you notice I don't sit there and blow smoke up your ass and say, yeah, have that jacuzzi, have that pool, have that. I tell you like it is because I already know what it is. I've done rentals and I suggest the same way. If you're going to live there, then you know what you're getting into. You get it. If that's what you want, you get it. But if you're planning on doing short-term rentals, it's not worth it because your maintenance, upkeep, and everything else blows away the rental value that you're going to get. So what if you charge $25 or $35 or $40 less than a person that has a jacuzzi? Let him have that renter and let him deal with the amount of times that year that he's going to have to maintain it and deal with the fallout from when people have to leave and they try to have a reservation the next day and see how well this goes when you have to call up whoever's got to clean that damn thing out if somebody used it and how much they're going to charge you for saying, hey, I need this done today or early in the morning. See how that's going to run for you. All right. See how that's going to work when these guys usually have schedules and you're asking them to bust off their schedule, break off their schedule. And you think they're going to tell you $40? It ain't going to be no damn $40. All right. So that's what people keep forgetting about, and think about this. You have renters and renters don't respect property sometime. What if the renters left in the pool cans, dumped in whatever party stuff they were doing in your pool? Now what? You going to have time to drain it and fill it? No, you're not. Not if you're planning on having somebody come back to back, and maybe not even in 2 days, because you're going to have to do a special order. Hey, man, pool guy, can you get over here today? No, man, I got my schedule for the next, I can get over there on Monday. Is that good? No, I'm trying to get renters in here on Sunday. Yeah, I'm telling you, you guys playing with fire when you do this is short-term rentals. If you're going to live there, like I said, do it. Do what you love if you live there. All right. $100 a month though, man. That's pretty wild right there. From every owner. Jesus. Wow. That's crazy. But that gives you an idea of the cost. Seriously, you guys are playing with fire. And heaven forbid if there's a maintenance issue, a real one, where the guy's got to come out and open up the hood, take off the door, and start messing with something, and some piece of electricity went out, or some module went out, or whatever the hell goes out, or one of your jets go out, or your sweeper goes out, or your pump goes out. There's too many moving parts. I've been down this road before. And after my first place that me and the wife lived in had the pool and the pump stuff and all that, I told her, you can forget about a pool ever happening again. Never will happen again. Spending so much money on the pool upkeep and maintenance. And of course, I had my youngest daughter with us. And of course, hey, graduation time. Can we have the pool party? Oh, okay. You know, of course, prom time. Can we have a pool party? Okay. You know, that stuff. And then all of a sudden the friends come over any random Friday, Saturday, whatever, 4 or 5 kids, pool. Okay, cool. But the fact of the matter is I had to sit there and pay the guy to come every week to maintain the chlorine, the water, and all that. Then I learned how to do it, so I would stop having to pay like $100 to $150 a month. Then the pump situation started happening. So now $500, Mr. Bird. What the hell? Oh, filters, Mr. Bird. They're $125 each. I'm like, oh my God. And our filter had three filters. Huge. You know, those ones 1.5 feet. No, 2 feet probably. 2.5 feet probably. The big one. We had a big one, man. Big. It's 3-4 feet wide, decked, pump. The pool was basically almost like a hotel pool size in the backyard. So yeah, the filtration system running, electrical bill going up, pool guy coming by. I'm just like, this is outrageous. I was like, this is outrageous. And then you realize you don't even use it all the time. 30 days go by, 5 days of use. In wintertime, no use, but you cover it. Which winter, it's still Cali, Northern California. You're not going swimming when it's 45 degrees out, right? Well, I'm not. 50 degrees out, we're not. I'm not. So it's covered for like 3-4 months. But you have 2 choices. You either keep it covered, and you know that in 4 months, you're going to have to call the pool guy. And instead of the pool guy paying $25 or $30, you're going to have to pay the pool guy $150 to $200 for the shock treatment, because you're going to have algae all under there. And if you drain it, keep in mind, pools are designed to have water in them. All right. There's more to it, but there's pressure. There's certain things. So a lot of people say drain it. I'm like, I'm not draining it. I'd just rather have the algae situation messed up. Or okay, I'm going to give you guys a story. So after that happens, then the following year, you know what I do? I go get a pump. So now I say, okay, I'm just going to keep the tarp on for 3-4 months. And then when I want to break it out, all that garbage water, I hook up my pump to it, come out to the front of the house, goes into the sewer, and then I pump in fresh water with the correct, I can't remember the terminology of it, but the chlorine and all that, because you have to test it. So at that point, I knew how to do it. The wife knew how to do it too. So now I eliminated this $200 situation, and by doing it myself. So that's how we started doing it. So just letting you guys know, there's a will, there's a way. You can have a pool, but you better be the pool guy. Have your pump so you can always pump out your water. So when if anything ever happens, you don't have to call up the pool guy and say, hey, man, I need you to pump out this water. Oh, that's going to be $75, Eric. Nope. Put your little pump down at the bottom, right where the water goes out, because I didn't have the pool that automatically took the water out. So I had to drop my pump, the one that takes the water out. I had to drop my pump. It goes to the center, the lowest point, and we just suck it out to the front into the sewer system, and then we refill. Call it a day. We back in business, fresh. Fresh. Oh, man. That's crazy. Also, guess what? If the jacuzzi isn't secured, the renters next door can start using your jacuzzi if they see there is nobody home. I've seen that as well. Oh, that is another thing right there. Very well said, Victor Moreau. That's what's going to happen in the DR. That's what's so funny about this. Remember, some of these places that they're building, they put villas side by side with no wall, concrete wall, fencing between the two. That's exactly what's going to happen. People will be like, oh, the renter's not there. Nobody's there. Let's go over and use their place. We've been here 2 days. And then they'll be like walking through. They'll be like, wait a minute. Nobody even lives here. Let's go use their pool. You're right. Oh, you're right about that, man. You're right about that. That's funny, Eric. The same here. I wish I can have someone take my pool and jacuzzi from my Florida home. All kids are out of the home and the pool is still there. We don't use it at all. What a waste. That's it. That's it. Exactly. That's what it turned into, man. It was crazy. It ends up being like, man, nobody ever uses this thing. And then every now and then, but it was, of course, it's kind of, I mean, you know, it's one of those things, man. It's pretty sad, really. To me, it was sad. It was like, I'm like up there every day. My loft is over the pool. So, and I used to work at my desk in the corner that can oversee the pool. And every day I'm doing my work and I see my pool and I'm just kind of like smirking, like, I'll never be going down there to use that thing. It's like it's just sitting there, but I still have the circulation on and I'm still like somebody's coming to use it. I'm just like, it was just like ridiculous. And so that's why the next house was like, forget, no pool, no way, no how, ever. Okay, so here's the, I don't have a story to say tonight so far. Nothing has really come up. I told you the story about the pool and stuff, but that's funny. I'm going to do this real quick. And then if there's anything else you guys want to talk about tonight, please let me know. And we got Karis Thompson, Johnny B still here at Instagram. Make sure you guys hit that follow button. We're trying to get over 920. Why? Because I want to see if it drops us back down under to 918, 919, 914, 915, like they have done for the last 5 years. And people don't believe it, but I just want to show everybody it actually keeps happening. And social media was just supposed to be open to everybody. What's going on? Yeah, you tell me what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So you guys know what time it is. We got to have a little break here. So I'm going to go with this one. I don't know. He's got a good shot. A lot of competition. The guy can play. But we all showed up to dethrone him this year. But I brought him something. Courtesy of Poker 101A. This is his jersey. And then we're going to auction one off. Oh, sweet. So he's got another one. Great. All right.
Very nice.
We have some heavyweights here.
As long as you can hold your own.
David Devilfish Juliet. You know, I'm here. Phil Ivey might even be here. I mean, we have heavyweights here tonight. So us little guys, we're going to have to do something serious.
Here he is, the man of the hour, Don Cheadle. Last year's tournament winner arriving to defend his title.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. We get around. That's SSN Lifestyle. You can come join us December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the Dominican Republic, Punta Cana Investors Forum. We're going to go day one, go see attorneys. Why? Because we need to find out about this tax reform, what the possibilities are. What does that mean? We already know what it means because you guys are up to date on this. But we need to hear from them as well, just from their perspective. We also, second day, we go around to check out any pre-construction and other properties. So that way you get the lay of the land. No credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. You don't have to buy anything. But it's best to know if you might want to buy something, this is the time to come, and we'll be talking about some properties. Go see them, and maybe there's something you like. Now, on day 3, we're going to implement into day 3 loans. We have to go to talk to the bankers. The bankers need to tell us what the lending situation is in December. It could change, right? We need to know, what does it take? What type of credit scores? If they use credit scores, then you need to understand what the percentage rates are at that particular time. They could change over another 4 or 5 months, but at least you'll know when somebody tells you, like they told us in May, 8.5% for 1 year to 5 year fixed rate. And after that, you have to pay 12.5 to 13.5% adjustable rate. That was Banco de los Oro. That was scary. When I heard, did you just said 12.5% adjustable, 13.5% adjustable for like the remaining time? He's like, yes, that's the way it is around here. I'm just like, but I was like, on a $50,000 amount that's due, I'm like, that's like $600 or $700 a month. He's like, exactly. I'm like, but that means your HOA might be $200. You'll be at $850 a month for 50 grand. That's crazy. That's real crazy. So those are some of the things you have to worry about if you decide to buy some property over there. And that is the thing that you need to be concerned with. Are you going to make? You would have to make, well, the way things are shaping up, 30% management fee. So, and if you have a condo hotel, you got 50% management fee pretty much. So now how are you going to keep $650 a month if you have a 1 bedroom and you're renting your 1 bedroom at $70 a night or even $100 a night? You're going to get $2,000. Great. Let's say for the month, but 30%'s gone. So now you're down to $1,400. You pay your house, your bill, your mortgage bill, your HOA, $650, $700. Now you're down to $700. We haven't even got to the other situations such as the electricity costs, your real estate taxes. If this reform thing comes in, you're going to be paying 1% annually. So that means it's $70 a month for that. The electricity, when the tenants or the renters aren't there, you're going to have to pay for that. I mean, all of a sudden, you're just like, I might have $400 left over, $5,000 a year, all for, that's crazy. Spending $100,000 to $150,000 to buy property and then rent it out, that's crazy. I'm just saying. So this changes everything. Like Victor Moreau was saying, we have to redo our numbers, but we can only redo our numbers with what is known. And luckily, Victor Moreau, your unit won't be ready. My assessment, from what I've seen, I don't know why, I thought the place was already white and wrapped, and I thought they had the first level done. I don't know what I was looking at. I thought it was, but when I saw your picture, I didn't see any levels done. And if it's the right place, then it's right there by the entrance to the Hard Rock. That's where I think I was on the right location. That's not going to be done in 2025. There's no way. They're not going to have that done next year by December. That's going to be 2026, best case scenario. They don't have any floors wrapped. Done. They're still on the gray matter. And they're upstairs at the top. They haven't even really started the interior and windows and doors and balconies. And I mean, I don't see how that's going to be. It's not going to be done next year. I don't see it. It's not going to happen. So you might as well just lock in 2026 at this point. But here's the good news. I know you have some money sitting in making money. So actually, it's all better because you're getting more than 10% annually. So it's a lovely thing. You would have had to give that money back into the DR. By the time they finish this damn thing, you're going to actually still keep your money, and the money you made over the last 2, 3, 4 years, you can use that to pay for your remaining balance. Because I know what the numbers are. VOO is 30-some% just last year. VOOG, if you had that, same thing. VTI, same thing, all over 30% year over year. So all we need is the previous year was like 30, 20-some%, 50% right there. Now, in the next 2 years, it's going to be easily another 50%. So you're not going to be mad at that, are you? I'm not. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's too funny. Let's go. Smash that like button, everybody. Smash the follow button. No matter where you are, smash the button so people know that you're in the house. Also, I'll put it this way. Go over to SSN Lifestyle. Make sure you join our December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. $199. But again, it does not include your hotel, does not include your airfare. So I would advise come on the 1st at least or before, December 1st or before, and leave December 5th or after. But you definitely need to be there 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That's where we'll go around and make some things happen. All right. So come around, and that's what we'll do there. Go to ssnlifestyle.com. You can use debit, credit, checking accounts to make payments, whatever. It's PayPal, so no big deal. All right, Mr. Compensation. I see you're back, man. Glad to see you. Hopefully, you're going to start doing some live streams. That would be nice. Come on, man. You got the name, Mr. Compensation. What you been up to? Let's go. That's what I'm saying. We always go. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's go. Eric. Agree with you, Eric. Although it's a small project, Galaxy won't be ready until 2026 or even 2027. This project has too many details, from the underground parking to the smart home component. Oh, you know what? You're right. You said 2027, and you know what I forgot about? The Haitian immigration situation. I forgot about that. You're right. If they are doing what they really said they're doing, you know how. Oh man, Victor Morel, you had to have seen them? Yeah, you saw. They have bus loads full of Haitians that they import in. A bus is holding at least 120, 130, maybe potentially. That is wild that they could all be like, half of them could be gone. And they're sharing with the Moon Palace, your spot. I'm just like, so there's a couple of hundred. What if that's reduced where they only have half of the people that were building it? That's scary. You're right. That would make it a 2027 situation. So you're going to have to let us know what you see when you go there, what this, and people will tell you what actually the impact has been for that immigration of the Haitians out the country, because that is scary right now. And yeah, they do have the underground parking, the smart home component, the upstairs, that unique. That's one of the features I wanted to see, was the upstairs, up top, the roof. I wanted to see what that looked like. Paul Castillo, another investor's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday night live stream. I see you with that icon next to your name that I love. And he brings his tagline. Good evening, SSN family. Tuning in late today, watching baseball playoffs. Well, who's winning, man? Let us know. I'm not watching the playoffs. I don't really watch any sports anymore. It's almost like, to me, they're all like WWE moments. I get to see like baseball, football, basketball, the rules that we used to go by, which was the standard. So it would give people kind of like not that much of an advantage. Now I see referees impacting the game, making phantom stuff or not calling obvious fouls or interference, or, you're just like, wait, how did you miss this? Umpires calling strikes when the ball is damn near at the dude's feet. And I'm like, what is this? I'm just like, this is just wild to me. It's almost like it's entertainment. It's like there's too much impact for me. And so I usually don't watch too many sports. But what I do is, I'll just tell you guys, it's funny what I do. I have money that's sitting overseas, right? At Sportsbook. I think it's sportsbook.ag, I think. And so I have a few money. I can't pull it off. So what I do is every now and then I do bets. And here's what my bets are for baseball. Whoever the last two teams are from this year's, and who's ever in the World Series, I bet on each one of them to come back to the World Series. You would not believe how many times there's been like 1, 2, 3 times in a row. It's crazy. And the odds are in my favor, right? And so that's how my account keeps growing, because I do these stupid ass bets. And then the next thing you know, every year or every other year, it seems like the teams that I picked, which is, like I said, the last two teams, I just picked them early. And then sometimes I'll do little college like betting, not major, just $5-10 or something on a game. Like, for instance, the biggest team that people know these days is prime times Colorado Buffaloes, right? But the Colorado Buffaloes always score points. So if somebody says over 45, and their defense isn't really that good either, I mean, it is what it is, right? So the other team's going to score, their offense is going to score. So generally both teams combined, 45, 50, I'm going over 50. So they always come through, right? And then I'll pick like something else. But that's, just for starters, just to have some fun. And so I might get into actually playing a little bit poker. I don't know, online poker a little bit, but I don't really plan on doing that. But let me know who's winning, man. Let me know who's playing, who's winning. I think the Yankees are in there, right? I saw something about that they were playing. The Dodgers I saw was playing, but then I don't know who won. They were playing somebody, and then I saw somebody else won. So I don't know what we're in. Are we in the NLDS, LDS, ALDS, or whatever it is? Or are we in the World Series? Let me know. I don't really check it out. All right. That's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to wrap it up tonight. I've had some nice fun with you. I played that Playboy. That's at the Playboy Mansion. Yes, that is Don Cheadle. Maybe one of these days. You know what? I keep saying I should hit up all these guys, but I just never really do, because I'm not really, talk to them. But I should hit him up and see if he'll come on one of these days. He's one of those guys he probably would, but he's different. Let's just put it that way. An actor, different. But the story that you don't see on that film was, I told this story one time before, and there's a guy named Ronaldo Ray. And I'll give the longer version that I've never given, but Ronaldo Ray is in movies. He's in TV. He used to host the BET comedy show back in the day. He toured with Red Fox. I don't know if you heard of Red Fox, a comedian as well. He would come up before Red Fox in Vegas and all around the world, and he would write jokes for him. He wrote music, and one of his big hits was can't remember. It's a huge, massive hit, and he got royalties up until, let me see, he told me he was a little bent about it, because the artist that passed away paid him his royalties, and it was around 2000, probably 10, when I saw him, 2011, and he goes, man, my royalty checks aren't coming in anymore. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, you know, my artist, the guy passed away. His family now has his rights to the music, and they won't pay him his royalties. So I was like, oh man, that's the music business for you. But he wasn't really all broken up because he was getting royalties since 1970 because he's a writer of credit on the song. So I thought that was pretty cool, right? So Ronaldo Ray, we used to hang out at different places. So this particular time, I told this story before. I call him up and I said, hey, man, I'm going to be at the Playboy Mansion. You got to come. And he's like, I'm not coming down there. I can't get in. I said, what do you mean? You're in. He's like, what? I said, oh, you're going to be in. But this is like the day before. And I say, hey, man, when I come down, get Paul. And Paul, I told you guys before, he used to sell jets in LA. And I said, Paul, get Paul, you and Paul, come on, man. I'll have the tickets all set up for you and meet me at the bus. Because the shuttle that you saw Don Cheadle get off on, they have shuttles. So how it works when you go to the Playboy Mansion parties, you can't park at the Playboy Mansion. Only, if you're like a caterer or you're like a close friend, you might be able to pull your car up in the roundabout. But generally, they don't want people driving their cars up there. So they pick a location. It's an undisclosed location until about 3 or 4 days before. So then it's usually a parking garage or it's usually a place that allows you to park many vehicles. So that's where you go get the shuttle. And so I tell him, go there at 7:30. All right, I'll meet you there at 7:30. So I call him at like 6 and I'm like, hey man, we're going to leave here in like an hour from where we're at and we'll see you there around 7:15. It gets around 6:30, 6:35. He calls me and says, hey man, they're not letting me on the shuttle. And I said, right, because I'm not there. That's what I was like, right. I said, because you're coming with me. And he's like, yeah, they're not letting me in. I said, okay, man, chill out. So then I told him to put the phone to the lady that's running the shuttle thing. And then I told her who I was. And I said, hey, just let him go up right now. Put him on the Stars shuttle bus, whatever you got going up next. And she's like, oh, yeah. Okay, I got all right. So now he's up there and we get there like 7:45. And that's when he's up there. And now when we get up there, he actually knows Hugh Hefner. This is so funny, right? The reason why he knows Hugh Hefner is because Hugh Hefner used to have the Playboy Mansion in Chi-Town, Chicago. Back then, he had something like Playboy at Night or something like that. He would hire him and other comedians to come and do a show, and it was on TV. Yeah, I know, like 1965 or something. I mean, it's crazy. The odds of all this, right? So it was too cool to see him up there. And of course, we're hanging out. He goes, does what he does. He's a comedian. And I do what I do. We're just hanging out. Everybody's there and having fun. And so then I'll go backtrack to the Don Cheadle thing. In case you don't know, what was going down is I'm actually sponsored by a few people. It could have been, I can't remember. It could have been it was a poker tournament too. Cake Poker, celebrity poker tournament. And so celebrities come. So Cake Poker was one. My Poker 101A, I have Poker Rory. I'm involved with several things. So I had a thing with the charity. I said, hey, every time whoever wins the previous year, then we'll give one of Poker 101A's jerseys. Because back in the day, poker players would wear jerseys. And so that's what you saw there. So that's why he was like, I don't believe this. I said, yeah, you won last year. And I was there. I think I was there the year that he won. And he actually has at the final table, I sent him over a final table picture that he doesn't have. What you guys don't know is at the final table, he was with a lady named Lacey Jones. She's a model, or still a model, kind of, but this is a while ago, right? But at the time, she was a poker player, model, TV show game host at a casino in Las Vegas. Yes, there used to be a TV show, game show in Las Vegas. She was the host. And here's the little subtle kicker of this. This is too wild. The first time Hold'em Radio had their first show, the Hold'em Radio guy named Wade, I can't remember his last name. Wade, me and him got along, and I'm at, I think it's Riviera. I want to say I'm at the Riviera. No, it's not the Riviera now that I'm thinking about it, because that was like garbage spot. Anyhow, I can't remember which hotel we were at. Anyhow, he said, hey, man, this is at the World Series of Poker. I'm going to be at this hotel. I'm going to run the radio show out of my hotel room. Okay. Well, I see at the World Series of Poker, damn, I can't remember everybody's names. But anyhow, I see one of the guys that was on ESPN that's a poker player. He won the World Series of Poker bracelet, not the main event, but he's won a bracelet. He's well known. And I talked to him because me and him was in Aruba, I think it was. And I said, hey, man, go do Hold'em Radio for me. And it's at this hotel. This is the room number. He goes over. So then Lacey Jones, who I don't know, she's at the World Series of Poker. She wins and cashes in one of the main events. And while she's sitting there happy, talking to her, I said, oh, this is your first time you're cashing. You should actually go to the Hold'em Radio show. She brings her girlfriend with her, who's actually a poker pro in her own right that people know. And they're both on the radio station. So Hold'em Radio opens up with a bang. They have some people that are in the World Series of Poker, people that want bracelets, people that are cash game players. And they're just like, oh my God, I can't believe this, because Wade didn't know nobody. And so I was just like going with all the people that I would know, run into, and I'd be like, hey, you got to go over to this hotel, go to this room, go see Wade, get on the Hold'em Radio, promote whatever you want to promote. And a lot of people were connected with poker rooms. So they would be able to promote their poker rooms. And from there, Hold'em Radio turns into what Hold'em Radio is right now. It still exists to this day. So just so you know, I invested in Hold'em Radio as well a few years later. And then he moved the productions to Reno, Nevada, because, again, they would have WPT events, World Series of Poker, bracelets events down in Reno, Nevada. So, and plus all these little contacts through the poker world, because then me and Wade used to do Hold'em Radio tournaments. And so I would be an announcer and he would be an announcer. So we would announce the actual, just what you see on ESPN, that's what we would do. And Hold'em Radio would be virtual, like what we're doing now, live streamed, right? So that's what we were doing back in the day. I was doing back in the day. So one of these days I'll have a picture of being at Binion's. We actually did a Hold'em Radio show at Binion's, just so you guys know. Binion's, yes, Binion's downtown. Yes, the one that people would recognize. They used to have the $1 million cash in the stack on Fremont Street. Yeah, we actually did live. I think it was 3 days of live poker, and we were announcing and doing our stuff. And then that's when, again, since I actually play poker for real, I would have some of my friends who are professional poker players that people know. And I would say, hey, man, come down to Binion's and you can be on the radio. You need to come down, do the radio show for me, please. And they'd be like, yeah, we're coming down, man. We'll come down. And I'll bring somebody else with me. You know, it'd be like Mike the Mouth Mattisau, if you guys know these names. It'd be a whole bunch of people. And these guys would come down, do like their 20, 30. In fact, we never had any time frame. We never had any set questions, but, you know, we just talk poker. And that's how Hold'em Radio kind of also started, you know, creeping up. So I invested in there, got a return because Wade decided to sell it. And so he says, called me up one day. Hey, man, I'm selling it. Come pick up a check. I was like, oh, right on, man. Right on. So there you go. That's another story for another day. So back to Don Cheadle. The Lacey Jones thing happened like 4 years earlier when she did 4 or 5 years earlier when she's on Hold'em Radio. Now we're at the Playboy Mansion. I didn't even know she was there. Don Cheadle's at the final table, and I'm looking like, wait, that's Lacey right here. So now I go talk to her, and I'm like, what are you doing here? She's like, oh, you didn't see? I said, no, I didn't even know you were here this whole time, because that was the year I didn't make it nowhere near the final table. And so then I have pictures because I was in the what do you call those? The picture services where they sell the pictures, license the pictures. So they would take pictures of people. Well, some of the photographers, they take pictures of me, and they talk to me, and they'd be like, "Hey, Eric, I got some of the pictures," and they would be like, "You know Lacey?" I was like, "Yeah," and they would send me an email of some pictures. So I have the final table with her, Don Cheadle, and a few other people. He doesn't even have the picture. So like when I told this story previously, it was like 8 months ago. I sent Don Cheadle the picture, and he's like, "My God, you got this?" And I was like, "Yeah, my God, you still got that jersey?" He's like, "Yeah, I still got it." So, but that's how it all goes down. So the world is smaller than you think, but it's a lot of fun when you go around. So that's why SSN Lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen, got to have fun. All right, here we go. Let's see what's happening. Dodgers versus Oh, that used to be the old one. Dodgers are up 3-2 in the series heading to LA. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like I'm going to be making some money. I believe the LA Dodgers was in the World Series last year, weren't they? You know what this means. Payday. Yankees versus Cleveland. Oh, but 3-2 is good. Hey, you know what? The New York Yankees payroll is more than like freaking 5 to 10 teams in all of MLB by themselves. It's insane. Yankees are up 2-1 in the series. Okay, so Dodgers are up 3-2. Oh, the classic one that everybody wants, Yankees and Dodgers. Okay, they are playing now, and Yankees are winning 8-6 in the ninth inning. So that's a 3-1 then. Yankees win series. Series is now, Yankees win. Series is now 3-1. Okay. Well, they're pretty close to putting a hammer down on that. So the Yankees and the Dodgers, one of the most storied, the two most storied franchises. That is what MLB wants to see for TV, I'm sure. That will be interesting. And two of the most that have spent the most on their players, I'm sure, because LA spends a lot. They just spent on what is his name? Otani or whatever his name is. What is that? 300, 600, 700. I don't even know what he's getting. It's hundreds of millions of dollars. That is insane for baseball. That is insane. Almost paying a dude over $500 million. But he is badass. I mean, the dude is the first to do 50-50. I do know that because that feat is crazy. 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases, and the dude pitches. Are you serious right now? Holy smokes. I mean, everybody thought 40-40 was awesome. What is this 50-50 thing? That is seriously awesome for a baseball player to do. Insanity. Power and stolen bases and can pitch too. There it is, Otani. That's it. 700 million for 10 years. Good God Almighty. Jesus, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is a corporation. This is insane. That averages $70 million a year. But I'm pretty sure it's probably stair-stepped like anything else, right? It's 50 million, then for two, then 55, then 58, then 65, and then 70, then 75, then 90, then 100. I mean, this is crazy. Talk about set for several generations and then some for the rest of the world. I mean, this is insane what sport stars are getting paid. Stars are getting paid. Because I'll give you guys one more story, then I'll have to ride off into the sunset. Because the reason why I'm saying that, I'm going to tell you guys, I've mentioned this before as well, but we sometimes have new people here. I played basketball at a little school, Division II school, that was called Sonoma State. And they're still called Sonoma State. It's in Northern California by Napa, the wine country, small school. And I played Division II. We're playing against other Northern California schools, Southern California schools, Nevada, basically West Coast. We never went anywhere hardly, Seattle, stuff like that, right? But never anything. And I'll just give you the end result my senior year. We have media day. And media day, the coach walks up to me. I'm the off guard, and me and the point guard. The point guard and me and the coach is sitting there, and the coach goes, "Hey, you two, you guys know you could be first team all conference, right?" And so there's two dynamics. My point guard, DJ, he's like, "Yeah, that's good. I want to be all American. I want to be all conference first team. I want to try to be in the pros." And so in my head, I'm just like, I'm graduating. I'm thinking, okay, this is nice. The coach is like, "Well, what do you want?" I said, "I don't really want anything." I'm like, "What do you?" I said, I'm graduating. I'm good. I got my business degree rolled up already. I'm like, "I don't really care." He's like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, man, you don't need to give me any pub or nothing. Give the pub to DJ. He wants to be all this, all that. Let him have the pub. I don't really care." So now we play our 26, 27 games. We luckily have several schools that are in the NCAA top 20 for Division II. They're ranked. We're not ranked. We're not good. We're like 50-50. But we're playing against Chico State, who's like ranked, I don't know. I'll just say all these teams I'm going to tell you is in the top 10. Chico State's in our league. Humboldt State's in our league at the time. We had Hayward State, and we had one more that I can't remember. We had, UC Davis. We had 4 teams that was ranked in the top 20 on the NCAA. So we're playing against these teams, and then we played against St. Mary's. St. Mary's is a school that people don't really know, right? But they had an all-American player. We were both seniors, David Van. So I had to cover David Van, and he had to cover me, which is interesting. And so we played other teams like San Jose State, which is now St. Mary's, San Jose State are Division I. San Jose State, I didn't have a good game, but they had 2 NBA players on their team, but I didn't have a good game. All the rest of the time we played against the top teams, I had good games. So now the season's over. And when the season's over, since I'm a senior and all my classes were already done, I actually stay in Sacramento. I don't even go to school the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So now I get contacted by an agent in Luxembourg. He says, "Hey, man, I got a contract for you." I take my contract to my coach. My coach freaks out because he goes, "You had an agent all this year. We have to forfeit games." I said, "No, we don't. I didn't have an agent this whole year." And that's when this is very interesting that everybody should learn from. If you have children or anything, here's what starts happening. My coach freaks out thinking that, we got to forfeit games. You had an agent. I reassure him there was no agent here. We can call him right now. He'll tell you. He says, "Well, then how did you get this? This is not how. This is never, ever happens. What's going on?" So then I told the coach, I said, "Hey, here's what's going on, coach. DJ was so focused on him trying to win this thing. What you weren't paying attention to is every time we played All Americans, whenever we played any team that was in the top 20 ranked, you should probably look at my stats. And so then right then and there, we get up and he goes, oh, okay, let's go look at your stats. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. Here's the funniest thing of all. DJ did make first team all conference. Guess what I made? I'm a senior. I didn't make first team. I didn't make second team. I didn't make third team. Because I'm a senior, they gave me honorable mention out of courtesy, I'm sure. All right. So that's the first thing that you have to realize. I will also give you this. Me and DJ averaged the same amount of points. Exact same. I'll give you that. And I'll tell you what it was. 13.8 points a game. That's it. Both of us. Our team, we ended up 50-50. Why? DJ wanted to be in the pros, so he wouldn't be like point guard. He would like keep the ball, you know, when he should have been passing a little bit more. But nonetheless, our one of our forwards, who was a junior, he made second team all conference. So that's what it had. We had 3 guys on the list of, well, who actually won all first. We had a guy on first, second team, and then I made honorable mention because I'm a senior. All right. So now we're in the coach's office, and he goes, yeah, you know what? I'm going to pull up the stats. So back in the day, we didn't have like what we have now. We would have like a printer that prints out the stats. So he starts printing out the stats. And that's why I know what the numbers were, because I never cared what my scoring average was. So that's when he pulls it up and he starts reading it. And that's when he goes, okay, wait a minute. You averaged 13.8 a game. So did DJ. I said, I know. He's on first team. I'm not. Then he goes, wait a minute. You average 5 rebounds a game. And then he's like, but DJ only averaged like 2 point something. I said, I know. Well, whatever. Then he says, okay, steals. He goes, wait a minute. You're in the top 10 in the league in the conference in steals. I said, yeah, that's good. Nice. Then he keeps pulling up more stuff. He's like, wait, on the block shot list, you're in the top 10 in the league on that too. I was like, nice. So all this stuff, my coach starts realizing the stats that I have is better than DJ on the first team. But DJ got the pub. See, that's what people don't understand. Got the publicity. So anyhow, here's what my contract says. $100,000. Car, no, not car. Transportation, which means I have a car, but it's not like I own the car. It's like I have car. I have apartment, and I have restaurants that I can go eat at that I don't have to fix food. So literally, we're good. So I don't think this is no big deal, right? I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But now the coach says, hey, man, you know you didn't play with Cooney. 2 years earlier, we had an All-American on the team. That was a year that I had an emergency, so I didn't play half the year. And, well, it's actually half of a year. Actually, it was 1 year. So that year I didn't play. These guys go to the NCAA tournament. We have this guy named Cooney who's an All-American. Cooney's contract in the Philippines is $64,000. We have another guy named Bird, but we're not related, that played like 5 years before. He gets a contract in the UK, and his is something like 50-some thousand. So the coach is still trying to figure out how I have 100,000. Well, I was born in France, so I have an advantage. I can play on the French teams, not count as an American player, one, and still be a good player. Now, what starts happening? I sit down on the couch at my house, and I'm watching some summer league basketball from the NBA or whatever, and they break out this guy that's shooting Craig Hodges. Now, mind you, this is like 85, 86. Craig Hodges doing an interview, people start going, well, you won the 3-point shooter, or you're in the 3-point shooter contest, you're playing with the Bulls, you're doing good. You know what he says? He says he was making $80,000 a year. And I was just like, are you kidding me right now? Now I understood why my coach was freaking out. He's like, how did this happen? So all I'm going to say is anybody that has sports as a family that does sports and their kids are trying to be the best, they should just play the right way. That's all. Somebody will see you. Somebody will find you. You don't have to try to go, well, I got to shoot and score 25 a game. I don't have to throw. I don't have to be quarterback or receiver and throw me the ball all the time. Or we got to throw downhill. You don't have to do none of that. You just play the right way and they will find you if you can play. So that's my story. And that should be good for everybody. All right. Ohtani, 50 home run ball has been auctioned now. Really? Current is, oh my God. And 3 days left. Eric, you should place your bid now. 1.8 million for the freaking ball already? It's not even 10 years old. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. 1.8 million. That is crazy. Eric, you was a pretty good basketball player. Yes. I was pretty good, man. I was supposed to go to University of Florida and dominate. But that went haywire straight away. That went haywire straight away. That's a whole nother story, another day. But at the time I played at Sonoma State, it was because I messed off Florida and didn't study, chasing girls, so many beautiful women. And it was just, 18-year-old kid and beautiful women. So there's no way. And so then at Sonoma State, it was based on small school, just do my work, got to get stuff done, graduate, get my degree. I don't really care about basketball that much. And so I just played and liked to play. And I'll give you the last bit of the story that the coach didn't know and I didn't know. So we were playing against UC Davis. And I'll just give you the story because it's kind of funny to me. The other team, whichever guard scored the most, I was the guy that covered them. So in other words, I played all the top scorers and I D'd them up. The only one scorer in the whole league that ever hit their average, ever gotten anywhere near their average, was this guy that played for UC Davis. His name, Robert Rose. And the reason why I'll never forget is because we were playing at home. There's one thing about playing home, that's the house. We can't lose at the house, and I ain't letting nobody outscore me or damage my reputation at the house. I'm like, shut down. You ain't scoring tonight. Well, this particular night against UC Davis, we lose at the house. And so I'm sitting there like, what the hell? So we go to the locker room. I'm sitting at the locker room. For whatever reason that night, they start passing around the score sheets. I normally don't even look at them. So this particular night, I'm just sitting there like, how did we lose? Like 70-65 or whatever. So I'm looking down the list and I see like Robert Rose down there. And I'm like, wait, he scored 23 points? Now, notice I don't forget this because this doesn't happen too often. I was like, he scored 23 points? How did he score 20? I shut him down, I thought. I was like, that was the quietest 23 points I ever heard. I just couldn't believe it. I was like blown away because I was like Robert Rose. I was like, oh, okay. I held him to like 10, 12, 14, worst case scenario. And then I saw this 2-3 at the end. And I was like, is this a mistake? He busted my ass quietly. He never talked, never said anything. He just played and did whatever. But I didn't realize he scored 23 points. And I covered him damn near the whole game. So I was like, how did this happen? I was like embarrassed once I realized he scored 23 points. So now we have to go play at UC Davis. Now, the thing about UC Davis is less than 30 miles from my high school. So whenever we play UC Davis at UC Davis, we got something coming, right? They got something coming. Those guys never even came to see me about recruiting me. So that's why I always had something special for them at their house. But this particular time, I was like Jordan. It was personal. This dude busted my ass at our court. 23 is busting my ass. Some people would say that's not, but he busted my ass. He scored 23. I scored like 14 or 16. And I was pissed. So now we go play at UC Davis. And I'm like, it ain't happening again. So again, we lose at the house, at their house. And I'm like, we should be beating these guys. What the hell's going on? But again, Robert Rose, this guy that's seemingly nothing's happening, he has like 20 freaking points again. But this time, I know what I scored. I scored 26 on his ass, but we still lost. So that don't count when you lose, man. So we lost. I scored 26 on him. So now it's summer league. So of course, I'm still contemplating my French situation, my business situation. So I just signed up for the summer league in Sacramento. Now, I'm walking through the door. Unbelievably, I look, it's Robert Rose. Robert Rose sees me and he's like, "What's up, man?" I'm like, "What's up?" We don't really know each other. He, in the summertime, I never seen him play around, but he might have been at UC Davis gym playing. I don't know. I don't even know where he's from to this day. But here's the thing that he says. He says to me, "Hey, man, congratulations. You made first team all league, right?" I looked at him and started laughing. I said, "Nah, man." I said, "Nah." I said, my running mate, DJ, made first team all league. I said, I was just honorable mention. He starts going, "What?" He's like, "Seriously?" I said, "Yeah." He tells me I didn't even know he was player of the year in our league. And then he blows me away when he says this. "Eric, also, man, I'm an All-American Division II." I was like, "Oh my God." I said, "No wonder you busted my ass. I couldn't figure out how you scored these quiet points. I thought I D'd you up, and the next thing I know, it's 20. I was like, "Oh, only thing I can figure is you scored 2 in the first 5 minutes. You scored 2 in the second 5 minutes. You scored 3 or 4 in the next 5 minutes during each half. There's 20. I said, I couldn't figure out how you were scoring so smoothly when I thought I locked you down. But when I look at the score sheet, you got 20. He goes, "Yeah, I'm All-American Division II. And I was like, "That's awesome." And then he says, "I'm going to go play in the UK." And again, he goes, $59,000. And I was like, "What? That's it?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Oh, well, I got $100K to play in France, D1 Euro League." He's like, "What?" I said, "Exactly. Funny how this world works out, right?" So that's how funny it was. That's how funny it was. Oh, Eric, the Gators won back-to-back championship 2006-07 with Al Horford and Noah. You could have been a part of the team. Hey, man, way too long from that. But they also had White Chocolate. He was on the team as well. And he was actually drafted by Sacramento. And they have 4 guys that went to the pros on that team. 4 guys. They had I can't remember his name. He played with Utah. Started with the B as his last name. Damn, I can't remember his name. But anyhow, yeah, they won back-to-back, man. Back-to-back, and it should have been 3 in a row. That's how crazy it is. And that was the one time only that Florida would have a team such as that, because it's hard to get basketball players to Florida because they focus on football so much. That's one of the things, and quite frankly, right, it's not really a basketball school, but they were doing damage under Donovan. They were doing damage, man. They were doing damage. Nah, man, I'm way older than them guys. So I couldn't have been there. The time I was have been playing at Florida, they didn't have anybody that good. They would have had me, but so be it. You know, their coaching staff is stupid, and I was acting stupid as well. I was acting like a 18-year-old, like a kid in a candy store with the women. So, and the partying. There we go. Brewer. That's it, Paul Castillo. That's it right there. All of those guys. White Chocolate, Brewer, Noah, Horford, Al Horford, they're all in the pros. And they all played like, no, in fact, Horford still plays, which is crazy with Boston. He's like played for 14, 15 years. It's crazy. Noah's done, Brewer's done, White Chocolate's been done. So, yeah, those guys were badass, man. 4 guys on the team played in the pros at that time is pretty significant. That's like a Kentucky. That's like the old UCLA's. That's like the old, you know, teams that could play, right? Who had stars. So anyhow, that's the stories that you guys get for this time. Because that time I went back way, way, way back, and I told the story, full story on but it's a learning process. And then I'll leave you with one last story. So you guys don't really know how old I am. I'm very old. All right. So I could have never played for the Gators in the 2000s. All right. That would have never happened. So my wife, before I married her, okay, and I got married in 2003. Before I married her, she loved this place in Napa, and it was called Mustard's. It's still there, fresh and organic and all that. So she used to talk about it. So what I did was, you guys, all you guys, you should treat your loved one, your significant other, your girlfriends. You always got to do something a little special every now and then, right? So this particular time, her birthday's in February. So I go down the day before. All right. Now you guys I gotta play this up a little bit. I drive a 1984 Grand Am is one of my cars. The same car that I used, that my friend Willie Red used for a year. But I have like 3 cars. She doesn't know this though. She thinks I have a brown Bomber and I have a Dodge something, 2-door Dodge sports car. So that's all she thinks that I have. So Will's using one of my cars. I let him use it every now and then to go do stuff. And so I would just drive the brown Bomber because I would never go anywhere. So this brown Bomber, I used to drive it because I didn't want it sitting because it's a cool car to me. Comfortable, I'm cruising, it floats. So I go down to Mustard's. I tell them it's the wife's birthday. I tell them that my wife is into this artist, the Painter of Light. Damn, got like 15 pictures. What's his name? He died. What's his name? Painter of Life. You guys might know who it is. I'm gonna Google it. Painter of Life. What's his name? No. He's from Auburn. Let me put this in. He didn't come up. I can't believe it. What's happening? No, Placerville. Sorry, Placerville. Hold on a second. Placerville. Oh, now this brings up another story. So it's story time. So anyhow, she likes Thomas Kincaid pictures. She has pictures, paintings, his first paintings from Placerville, signed, autographed, stamped, right? She has a few. So I decide I'm going to do something crazy because the Painter of Light has these paintings, and he has these houses that light up with the street lamps, people walking, doing all this crazy stuff. I actually buy a set, 2 sets for her. So what do? I dropped them off at Mustard's that night, and I tell him, my girlfriend, I'm going to have her birthday party, our birthday. I'm going to bring her here. And Mustard's, you have to reserve like 2 weeks, a week in advance, 2 weeks in advance for the seating area generally, right? Well, I went to Sonoma State, remember? All right. So I have a little pool in Napa Valley. So I see Mustard's. I go there and I say, hey, I need something tomorrow night. And they said, okay. I said, but you know, the best seat is the one that's like right here, that you just walk up the platform and it's wide open. Everybody can see you and all that. I said, that's the seat I want. She's like, the owner's there, of course. She's like, I think I can make that happen. So now the next day I say, hey, I'm taking you to Mustard's. And I brought a cake as well. So yeah, the cake and everything. So she's just thinking I'm taking her for a birthday dinner to Mustard's all the way from Sacramento to Napa. So we get there and we eat. She's trying to figure out, how did I get a reservation? Because I told her now, she knows you have to make reservations like maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks at the time to get into Mustard's. She's trying to figure out in her head this whole time. I'm pulling up with the brown bomber with her. And she, of course, is an excellent woman. So she doesn't think about the cars or what it looks like. And so I pull in the parking lot. We get in. And then her mind is still like, wait, how did he get the best seat in the house? This is impossible. He just told me about this like 4 days ago. So now we get there. We eat this whatever excellent food. She goes to the bathroom. That's the cue for the waiter, waitresses, and they bring the houses, the Kincaid houses. They bring the candles. They bring the cake. And now when she comes back, she's just like in shock. She's like, how the hell did you pull this off? So that's what I did. And she's obviously like, all happy. Everything is cool. So everything is great that night. Now, keep in mind, I haven't been to Sonoma State ever since I graduated. I haven't been there for like 10 years, at least. Never went back to see a game. Never went back to see my coach. Never went back to see anybody. So now this particular night, I'm sitting here and in the newspaper, because while she's in the restroom, the guys like have a newspaper and the sports thing. Sonoma State has a game tonight. Sonoma, from Mustard's to Sonoma State it's probably at night. There's no traffic. I can probably get there 30 minutes, 35 minutes, something like that, through the back way. So I know the back way. So I'm just like, so I tell her, I'm like, hey, it's kind of early still. It's like 5:30, 6:30. I said, you know what? I haven't even been to a Sonoma State game in ever, like 10, 15. In fact, since it's 2000, it'd be like 15 years. I said, I haven't been there in so long, but we're here. They got a game tonight. Do you want to go see a basketball game? She's like, okay, I'm down. Let's go. I thought she was going to say no, but no, she goes, okay, I'm down. Let's go. I'm like, oh my God, she's going to be my wife one day. Anyhow, so we get in the car, go to Sonoma State, and I get there, and it's probably the game's already started. I roll in, open the door, and I don't believe it. Straight ahead is my coach. And all of a sudden, my coach is like, hey, Eric, I don't believe it. Says something like that. You guys would not believe what happened next. I couldn't even believe it. Double digits in years. I've never been back to my school. And I shit you not, he started clapping. And other people in the stands literally started clapping, going, hey, Hey, some of my old teachers were there in the stands. Hey, the old sports guy that used to do my foot, wrap my foot and stuff's there. Hey, and people start clapping. I get in the door, 3 feet. There's a guy that's sitting there, and he says to me, "You're the reason why I came to Sonoma State." And I'm like, "You're that recruit that came up to check out our game way back when. What are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh man, I come here. I live in this area now, Roner Park, whatever." And they're just clapping, going, "Eric, right on, man. Glad to see." I could not believe it. It was so shocking. My wife she wasn't a wife at the time, but she's sitting there like, "Who are you? How is this happening?" I said, "I don't know how it's happening, but it's cool as hell." So now I see my coach, and he says to her, "What are you doing with him?" I'm like, start laughing. Of course you would say that, right? Yeah, what am I doing with him? So that is another story. So this is story night. Story night's already over now. I should have ended it already. But the reason why I don't care, because we still have over 100 stories to go, right? I got 100 stories to tell. You guys have no idea. I've had the life of a century. If God or anybody and the devil could come down and get me right now and they'd be like, "Hey, man, time's up," I'm just going to look at them like, "You could take me," because I had one of the best rides of anybody in my lifetime. So that's why you got to have fun and enjoy yourself. But you want to know the funniest thing? You do have to make money financially. You do have to make money. And to sustain that is very hard because over time things change. Just like Blockbuster never thought VHSs would go out of style, then Netflix comes. TV never thought streaming services would be anything major. The movie industry never thought streaming services would be major. Now look at them. Amazon buying, I think they bought MGM. And then you have all these streaming services making their own movie studios and things like this. Nobody could see that coming 30 years ago. So therefore, the record industry never saw streaming as well coming. So now the record business is now on its heels because there's not much money in that side of the industry. So you got to remember, this is all crazy, right? This is all crazy. So that's the thing. Eric, you definitely in Netflix series of your stories. I know, man. I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. You would not believe the stuff that happened. In fact, I'm going to even give another story because it's so long ago in college stories. I'll tell you this one because I got stories my whole life, but I'll just go college stories. So me, it's again, it's my senior year. I'm walking with my friend, Roy Beltrami. He never hardly gets any minutes. I used to tell my coach, "Man, he's a senior. He should get some run, at least a little bit." Roy Beltrami graduates. Okay, I've given this story a little bit before. I'll give the whole story. Anyhow, I won't give the whole story. I'll just say what happened. Me and him are walking after practice during like January. And in January, we're walking by the dorms. I didn't live on campus dorms. I lived off campus. I like my own place, right? I had roommates, but I didn't like living on, in campus because I play sports and stuff. I don't need all the activity. And I study and want to get my stuff done. I live with nerds, straight A's. I live with the straight A's guys. I mean, they just quiet, study, got a scholarship for academics, kind of guys. So I don't have to worry about them. And so we're walking to where I live, and we see these two girls who came during break time, and we see, we're like 100 yards away, and we see them taking stuff out the car, going up stairs, putting stuff up. So as we get closer and closer, we're both like, "Hey, man, you see that badass cutie pie girl there and her friend?" He's like, "Yeah, you mean the blonde one, right?" I said, "Yeah." From about 50 yards, we can tell the girl was beautiful. So we get up to her and her friend, her roommate, and we say, "Hey, you need any help?" And they say, oh, yeah, we could use a little help. And all they had was like 4 or 5 bags. So literally, instead of acting like dumbass college guys, we just took up the stuff. We said, how you doing? What's your name? Yeah. And didn't say anything about, we play basketball or nothing. We were just like shooting the breeze. Yeah, what are you doing? We just your first semester, whatever. We're just passing through. We saw you needed help, and go up and back, up and back. And we're like, bye, see you later. Okay. So now nothing's happening. Never have anything to do with these 2 women. We are sitting there just, it's let's call it June 15th or January 15th. So now we have a game, January 20th, February 1st, February 10th. And that was one of the times that I went to the radio, because I never had any radio things. And in fact, speaking of that, the voice of the A's, I got to get on Kenny Korak. Kenny Korak, the voice of the A's radio. I should get him on. He was our announcer of our basketball games when I played. All right. So anyhow, I was never on any radio show. So that one night, they said, hey, Eric, Kenny wants you on the radio tonight. Okay. That was a double overtime win that we got against Hayward State, who was ranked like in the top 10. So I go do the radio show. I'm walking off the thing. This girl taps me on my shoulder. Hey. And, people tap you while you're leaving anyhow sometimes, and says, hey. And I look at her and she goes, you remember me? Now, guys, this girl's like a 10. You're not going to forget 10s. All right. 10 plus. So I'm like, of course I remember you. What's going on? And that's when she says magic stuff. She says, hey, there's a party at such and such spot. That's where I'm going to be. Now, when we go to the locker room, we get a list of there's parties all over the place. But she goes, that's where we're going to be. I said, okay. I turn around and walk off. And I'm like, okay, that's nice. But then she comes and taps me again. And she goes, you know what? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm going to be there waiting for you. I was like, okay. You don't have to say no more. I got you. And then she's like, you're going to be there, right? I said, yeah, I'll be there. So anyhow, after the game, I go over there, go see her. We have fun. We have a nice time. She's a nice girl. We hang out. Okay, fine. Now, this little hangout session turns into more than just hangout sessions, of course. And then I'm trying to do business in Santa Rosa, because I sell products from overseas while I'm in college. I told part of this story and all of this story before, probably, but now some people might not know. But that's what I did. I sold products from Taiwan, Philippines, China. In the Southeast, I would get products and they would have a show on TV. The guy did bingo. During the bingo show at Santa Rosa TV, they needed to sell products. I had products selling in a nickel ads or penny savers. People might have heard of either one of them. That's where I would sell stuff. I got a phone call saying, hey, I need product to sell on my show. Would you like to sell product on my show? I'm like, hell yeah. Come down so we can make a deal. And I said, oh, this is going to be awesome. So what do? So I call up the girl and I say, hey, I got a meeting at Santa Rosa with some products I'm trying to sell. And they're going to do some commercials and do all kind of stuff. And since you're so beautiful, maybe you'll be in the commercials and all kind of stuff. Why don't you just come with me? Actually, I don't even need you to be in the commercials, but I need you to be a distraction. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, you just need to show up. That's it. You'll be a distraction. So now we go and I sit down, and you got to remember, I'm only like 21, something like that. Yes, I have an LLC. Yes, we have business going down. So I sit down with him, and he's just like looking at her like, I can see that he's like distracted. So we start talking, and I say, hey, man, so what type of deal are you talking about? And he starts talking like, yeah, normally I give people, I don't remember the numbers, but he says something like, well, I give people this for every 5 units or 4 units that sells, I keep the price of the 4 and I give the other people the price, of the 6 or whatever out of 10. So I tell him, I said, I don't like that deal. And he says, oh, what? I said, yeah, I don't like that deal. How about something like this? How about for every 10 out of 12 that you sell, I keep the price from the 10. You keep the price from the 2. He was so freaking distracted. Can you believe he says, I agree. We sign a contract. So his show came on like Thursday and Saturday, I think, or I can't remember the time of the show. And so now every Monday or Tuesday, I would go down and pick up a check for all the stuff that sold the past week. How do you like that for being in college, right? So then here's the point. While I'm sitting as we're signing, we start talking about advertisement. And so I'm like, oh, right. We got to do some advertisement. This is great. So I turn to this girl and say, hey, are you gonna you gotta do the commercials for me, right? You're gonna be in the commercials for me, right? You know what she says? She says, I can't be in the commercials. I said, what? I go, what are you talking about? I'm like, what do you mean you can't be in the commercials? She's like, because I'm signed to Ford Modeling Agency in San Francisco. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Are you kidding me right now? She never said a word. Nobody even knew that she was the freaking one of these top tier models in San Francisco. Unbelievable. And her dad was a freaking one of the presidents of 76, Union 76, and mom worked at Levi's Strauss in San Francisco. Crazy, crazy stuff. So anyhow, the distraction worked. Then I find out this beautiful woman that I've been hanging out with is a model with the Ford Modeling Agency, and she can't do commercials, my commercials. I'm like, wait, we got to call Ford Modeling Agency and see if they'll allow it. They're like, nah, we ain't allowing it. So that is the story. Make deals, get the distractions if you can. But that's not the real part. The deal is the business end of it ended up being sweet for me. So this is how I was making money. One of the ways I was making money while I was at college. All right. And you guys already know the other one. I made money from the stand, the snack bar. I had products in the snack bar, like T-shirts and all kind of stuff. So after each game, I could go pick up a check after each home game that we played, and I had to get it cleared from the NCAA to allow it. The Barkley was our AD, and he got it cleared from the NCAA that allowed me to sell products in the snack bar and get paid after every home game that we played. So I was making money while I was playing. So I wasn't really thinking of playing to make money. That's the funny part. I was just like playing for fun, and I was making money from playing at Sonoma State. And that's what the funny part was. And everybody couldn't figure out what I was doing because none of it was in the wide open. And I would wear, at that time, I was into being Mr. GQ. So you can imagine being at college, but you're dressing like the front of a GQ magazine, and you have, because you play sports, you have a lot of guys and women that hang around you when you come on campus, especially women. And I have my own car, and I have clothes that you see in magazines that I wear on campus when I go to class. And people are like, what is this guy doing? He's a drug dealer. He's got to be doing something illicit. He's got to be, he's a black guy. That means those beautiful women hanging around him must be prostitutes or girls, or he must be selling drugs. He must be doing this. And so I never would say anything. I'd just be like, I don't give a damn what they think. I'll just doing whatever I'm doing. And I was making money. And so every weekend I go down to San Francisco. So you guys say, like, we have our SSN Nation gear, right? Why do I always have my own gear? Pretty much I always wore my own stuff, right? I would never wear those brands like I talked about on Wednesday, because in San Francisco I stumble upon the secret when I'm in college, when I'm in downtown by Market Street. Back in the day, that used to be the retail center, right? And so behind Market Street, there's an alleyway, and that would be the garment district, basically. The garment district is where you can make deals because they're pulling out racks of clothes that go in stores, but the wholesale price is way different than the price that they put in the store. And they have what I told you on Wednesday. They would have irregulars, or this doesn't look right. Oh, this, that, the other. That's another lesson people should learn. So now I'm at the garment district. That's how I'm able to have all these GQ clothes, because there would be either because they knew me and I would get like real great deals, something that they're selling for $500 would be like $50 to me. So this is why I could be going to school buying regular price clothes, but they're on the magazine covers. And people are like, he's wearing this. One time I wore these red leather pants that are exact duplicates that Eddie Murphy wore in his, I think it was called Raw, the red leather pants. That's what I actually wore to school. People were like, no way, where did you get this? Because obviously it's special edition. Nobody else has it, right? But I have it. And so now they're trying to figure out, I must be a drug dealer. I must be somebody that's doing bad stuff. And he plays basketball. What the hell's, and he has the most beautiful women around him. So now this is the aura, and the storyline is people's trying to figure out what I do. So I never say nothing. My roommates, they're just like, what do you mean? The guy said he's from CEO of Yashimika Camera Factory. He said he's the CEO. He needed to talk to you. I'm like, that's him, my nerd guys. They're answering the phone. We don't believe it. He had an accent. He said he's from a CEO of Yashimika. I think it was Yashimika camera. He needed to talk with you because I actually bought cameras from Japan and some other places and sold those too. So anyhow, it's him. So I call him back. Remember, we're like, I can't remember, like 7-8 hours of different time zones or something. So my roommates would be, they minded their own business though. They were just like, we don't believe it. And then I was like, yeah, he called. Make sure you get his number if he ever calls. But I had his number anyhow. So now it's May. I'm walking on campus in May. The newspaper guy sees me. He says, hey, Eric, I need to talk to you. There's all this stuff about you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that, you're play basketball, superstar, whatever it is. I want to do an article. I said, nope. No, I'm not doing an article. I said, here's what I'm going to do. Whenever the last article comes out or the last newspaper comes out, that's when you can, we'll do an article. All right. I'll do an interview. He's like, all right, right on. So now it's graduation in probably June. And the last newspaper comes out at the end of May. So we do the interview in May. And that's when he's like, no way. And that's when they find out about D Bird Company. They find out about, I got the AD to approve that I could sell stuff in the gym at our home games. They found out that I was like I was in management, the business school management. I was like, I was on like the honor roll academically, which I didn't even know, all kind of stuff. They're just like, man, this is a whole different thing going on. Then they find out about, the contract. They go talk with the coach. Coach says, oh man, he's one of the only one. He's one of one. I've never had another student basketball player like this guy. All this. So now I used to get in a riff with my my professors, I've told people this before, my professors, I'd come in late on Tuesday, I think, yeah, Tuesday it had to be because I would only have classes Tuesday and Thursday. I'd come in late Tuesday morning, my class is at 10. I would go pick up my check at the station, but sometimes when I got there at like 9:30, the guy wouldn't be there like he said. So I'd have to wait. So I'd wait on my check. I'd leave there like 9:50 or 9:45, 9:50. Takes me about 20 minutes to get to Sonoma State. So I'd walk in class 10 or 15 minutes late. And my professors used to say, "Oh, the basketball star is here." And I'd be like, no, I'm wearing a dress shirt with a tie and I have a briefcase. And they would be like, "Oh, the basketball star, you can't be here early." I'm like, "Come on, man. I'm not, it's not like that. I just had to go down to a meeting." And they're like, "What meeting are you going to?" You know what I'm saying? They would never think I'm doing something. So they were like always trying to put me down. So that's the funny part. So now that the paper comes out, and the paper comes out and it says all the information. Now I go over, and when I graduate, now at graduation, people have read that stuff. My professors have read it. After graduation, my brother and my cousin were walking, and apparently I look through a glass and I see like an ice sculpture, a chocolate fountain. I see like my professors inside, and I'm like, "Oh, we're going in there." I get my boy Roy, and I tell Roy, "Hey man, come on, man, we got to go in this party right here. We should be in there." He's like, "Nah, we can't get in there," and he walks off. I tell my brother and my nephew. My brother is like 18, 17. My cousin is like 15. And I'm like, "I don't care." So we get up to the door, and the guy sees me, and I said, "Yeah, man, I got to go in this party." And um, he's like, "Oh, okay, right on. You can go in." Now I'm the only student, and mind you, there's alcohol in here. My brother's not supposed to be in there because at the time you had to be 21 to drink alcohol in Cali, and so my brother and my nephew, and nobody says nothing. So we come into this faculty party with everything's flowing. I'm like, "Oh my God, the best food ever is in this joint." So I'm eating, and right when I get up to the champagne fountain around this big table, on the other side, my coach comes walking in, and he starts laughing. He's like, "Of course you would be in here. I wouldn't expect anything else." And he just starts laughing. I just said, he just walks off shaking his head like, "I can't believe this guy. He shouldn't, how's he do this?" So now we're in there for a little while. I come back to the chocolate fountain. And right when I'm doing the chocolate fountain, two of my professors are across on the other side on the chocolate fountain. Both of my professors, I could not believe what comes out their mouth to this day. Both of them says, "Hey, Eric." The first one says, "Eric, I'm sorry." The second one says, "I'm sorry." And then they start explaining, "Hey, man, I thought you were just trying to be like late and didn't care about the class because you played basketball and all this. And that's why I always, thought, said this stuff in class. I didn't realize you were doing this business stuff. You were actually doing business." I said, "Yeah, that's why I would always raise my hand and say, that's not how it's done." He goes, "Yeah, but I thought you were raising your hand. That's not how it's done, trying to act like you're a hot shot." He said, "I didn't realize you were actually doing business." I was like, "Yeah, I know, man. I didn't want anybody to really know because I didn't want that to be another." I figured, okay, I play basketball. That's good enough. You guys didn't need to know about everything else. And so that was the funniest part of all, when they started apologizing and say, "I'm sorry. I treated you maybe wrongfully." And so then I told him, I said, "So when I came in class wearing the G wear and the dress shirt with the tie and holding the briefcase, what was that?" I was like, "I wasn't coming in sweats and basketball shoes." So he's like, "Yeah, but I just figured you went for an interview or something all the time." I don't know. And I started laughing. I said, "Oh, it's all good, man. It don't matter. I got good grades in your class." Anyhow, right? I got like A in your class, right? What am I gonna bitch about? He's like, "Yeah, you always did your everything on your test. Everything you did in class was top notch." I said, "I know." So I could care less about if my grades weren't top notch, you gave me the wrong grade, then we might have had an issue. But you gave me A's, right? So I couldn't complain. I deserved them. So you didn't like jack me. So we're good. So anyhow, that's how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. After my graduation, and I told the story about my graduation before I wasn't supposed to graduate. So before I end this, I'll complete this cycle. It's 2 weeks before we're supposed to graduate. Roy's supposed to graduate with me and me. We're the only two seniors on the team that's going to graduate. I take him and I see him and he on campus, and I couldn't believe the words coming out of his mouth. He says, "Eric, I can't graduate. I'm 3 units short." I said, "Are you kidding me right now? You're the only one we're gonna graduate with me, and you're not gonna graduate." So I said, "No worries. Let's go up and see Bill Reynolds." Bill Reynolds is the dean of the business school. So we go upstairs, see Mr. Reynolds, and I tell Reynolds, I said, "Reynolds, man, my boy, he's not going to graduate with me, apparently. He's 3 units short." I'm like, "I can't believe this. I'm going to be the only senior on the team that graduates. This is crazy." And he's like, "Well, let me see what I can do." So then he asks him questions. He starts going, "Hey, man, you work somewhere?" Roy's like, "Oh, yeah, I work with these guys, this, that, and the other." Bill Reynolds starts smiling. "Oh, I got you covered. That's going to be work. I can give you work credits." So that's how he gets his 3 credits. That's how he's graduating with me. So now I'm sitting there like, right on. Okay, mission accomplished. Now you guys got to remember, I went to University of Florida. All right. I went to JC because I was messing around in Florida. I had to go to a JC they had quarters, 3 quarters straight, 20 units a quarter, which is a lot. All A's just to offset my 1.3 academic probation at U of F. All right. So I have more than enough. I go back up to Reynolds because we got to talk about seating for the graduation, because they want to seat us by alphabetical order. Well, I'm Bird, Beltrami's BE, I'm BY, so there's somebody between us. And of course, I'm a guy that kind of likes beautiful women. So I'm like, "Reynolds, man, me and Roy, we got to have the 2 most beautiful women in our class sitting with us." And he's like, "What?" I said, "That's my request." So then he goes, "Eric, I got something to tell you. You're 3 units short." I said, "Okay, man, stop playing." I said, "I got units from U of F. I got units from the JC, and I busted my ass. And I'm supposed to get a minor in computers. If I came back if I did summer school, I'd have a minor in computers." I was like, "I have so many credits. Stop playing, man." He goes, "Oh no, you know that elective that you took I can't remember how it worked, but it was either I took a test to bypass the elective, so when it transferred from U of F, it didn't count as a class at Sonoma State, since it was like I took a test, do the elective versus a class or something like that, right?" He goes, "That's why you're 3 units short." I said, "You got to be kidding me right now." He goes, "But no worries. I saw the newspaper. You've been doing work. I got your 3 credits applied that you needed for the class, so you will be graduating." I was like, "Oh my God, right on. I wasn't planning on coming back here for nothing." He's like, "Oh, I got you." So I said, "Hold on now. We got one thing accomplished. How about the second?" And that's when he's like, "Oh, the girls." I said, "Right." And me and Roy sitting next to him, and they're sitting next to us. And I need so-and-so next to me. And then I told Roy, who did he want before I came? And he says so-and-so. So that's who we got next to us. So he does that. And then I'll give you guys the coolest story of all. One of them, coming to our graduation, I go and get the limo. I pick up the girls. I told part of this story before. I get when I come, we got champagne on ice. I got champagne bottles. We got the ice. Pick up the girls, me, girls, Roy. We get out. We go to our graduation. We walk in. We're already popping bottles, pouring our champagne amongst our glasses. We're sitting down. The president of Sonoma State is up there talking, and all we're saying, I'm just acting crazy on the Wall Street, right? And we're just popping bottles with the girls. We're sitting there. All of a sudden, Paul Castillo says, Eric, it sounds like he was a big man on campus back in the days. You could say that. I'll give you another story another day about something else because this is going too long. But the fact of the matter is, we're popping bottles, doing whatever. We're not even paying attention because it doesn't really matter. We're in alphabetical order, or we're in order to go get our diplomas. So we're not thinking anything. All of a sudden, Roy starts fumbling through the program. And he sees this asterisk or mark next to my name. And he says, hey, man, why is there a mark next to your name? So I jokingly said, well, maybe I wasn't supposed to graduate, so they just let me come up here knowing I need some credits. Maybe Reynolds didn't do it. I'm thinking, I don't really care at this point. I know I'm getting something, but I don't know what that asterisk or whatever it is. So I bring it over, look at it, and I'm like, but wait, there's like 6 or 7 other people that have this thing on there. So then I just close it and go, man, I don't know what this is. And I give it back to him. All of a sudden, I look over and I see my mom at a table, and I see tears coming down my mom's face. And I'm thinking, okay, she's emotional that I'm graduating in class, right? And so, I'm like the oldest son, and I got my degree, and, she's there, and I'm thinking, cool, mom's having emotional moments. Next thing I know, the president, while he's up there, starts saying, everybody who has a mark next to their name, you need to stand. And I'm like, Roy, girls, did he just say everybody with the mark stand? That would be me. Now I stand up, and next thing I know, I hear him say, everybody who's just now standing that you see has graduated with distinction. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Are you kidding me right now? Are you serious? Educational, graduated with distinction? Oh, that is cool. This is awesome. So now I understand why my mom was sitting over here crying, because she obviously knew what it meant in that pamphlet, which I didn't care nothing about. I'm popping champagne, pouring it, having fun, and I wasn't caring nothing about that. And so that's how it ends. And that's when we finish that. Then we go to where I told you about that little party, the faculty party with all the champagne flowing and the chocolate flowing and all that. So anyhow, that is the stories. I gave you like 3 of them, but don't worry, I got another 100. So we got about a year. What do we have now? We have 2 years and about 4 months worth of stories to do, right? Every Friday I'm doing a story. This one, wow, we went like over 3 hours, I'm pretty sure. And thank you all for listening, having a little fun with me. I told you guys every Friday night I'm doing stories, and I have a ton of them. I can't keep them in order if I start going back and forth, because I have a ton if we start going back and forth, but I'll try to remember. I'll think of another. I don't have to think of anything. Something will come up while we're talking next Friday, but I'll always do stories every Friday, because I hope you guys learn from some of these stories, especially like the one where the guys, where you're not being all flashy, fancy. Nobody knows anything. You're just handling business. Grinding, doing what you need to do. Don't have to worry about anything fancy, anything. You just handle whatever you want to do and let people believe or think anything they want to believe. You just on a different mission. They can believe whatever they want. You just got to do what you got to do. When they find out later, great. If they never find out, great. But you're still handling business, doing what you need to do. You're not doing it for somebody else. You're not doing it for driving down the street, walking down the street, doing whatever. And so somebody can give you accolades all the time. Accolades only go that one time. After that, you got to be putting in work. So that's my little promotional speech, motivational speech. But that's what it was all about. I knew I had options to do professional business, anything I want. Plus, I still had business going when I graduated. So I was like loving life. I still had stuff on the TV show. I'm still loving life. I'm already in business. I don't even need a job. So what better way to finish college not having to have a job? You don't have to go down the interview. You don't have to do anything. You're just getting checks sent to you while you're lounging around in Sacramento, having fun. I mean, come on. You can't get any better than that, right? And you're only like 22. And my birthday's in the summer, so I'm 23, something like that. So yeah, I'm lounging around having fun. And a whole nother story comes from all that. In fact, I might have one of my friends on from that reminds me. I got a lot of friends I should call up and have them on. And we can do some of these stories, because then they'll be telling you the stories on what happened, right? That would be funny. I haven't ran into Beltrami, which is unfortunate, because me and him was tight. And I saw him last time about 10 years ago in Napa. And maybe longer than that, 15 years ago at a land auction. I'm trying to think what event it was. It wasn't land auction. It was some real estate event in Rohnert Park that I went to for Shelter Cove. And he was actually there talking about, I'm going to live and move to Shelter Cove. He used to live in Windsor. And that's the last that I've heard from him, seen from him, anything, which is unfortunate, because I used to go down to San Francisco and check on his mom because she lived in the Avenues, because he would always stay up at Windsor and the other kids would never come visit her. But whenever I go down to San Francisco, I would just stop in on her and say, hey, how you doing? Seeing how she is, checking on her. And Roy used to tell us, because my number's 24. And she would call, whenever Roy would call her, she would go, number 24 stopped by the house and we had a nice little chat for a few hours. And I used to crack up. Roy would like hit me up like, hey man, mom said you stopped by. What's happening? I said, hey man, since you don't want to be in touch, I figured I'd stop by familiar. Because Roy is actually Italian. So when he got married, I was one of the men in his wedding, and yeah, he had the Italian bodyguards and all this stuff, and he never portrayed that at all, which was kind of funny. He never showed that side of him in college at all, but when he got married, yeah, the gangster blood was in the house. So that's another story, another day. But you guys, thank you so much for being here. We got a lot more to do, because on Monday night we have to talk about this Dominican tax reform. There may be more information about it. The stock market records, they're still being broken. You should have your dividend investments in YieldMax ETFs, or even on the way out. We'll talk about ORC. These are stock symbols: ORC, AGNC, NLY, PSEC. And then I'll throw in something else: IWMY, YMAX, 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 YMAG, because those two give out dividends every Friday, and you can reinvest those dividends every Friday, which means your rate of return increases greatly. So, and they're not just 10%, at least those last two. You could be in a 30, 40, 50 percentile return, because the distribution on the dividend is derived from options trading by the ETF. So it varies every week, but still that is very, very powerful. And other YieldMax ETFs are also very powerful. Some pay even higher than 50 or 60% in dividends, which is, geez, that high risk, high rewards. So that's all you need to know. But yeah, thank you so much, Paul Castillo, and everybody else for being here tonight. And yes, I was like this pseudo guy on campus. I'll give you one last story because I love helping people out. That's why I did this channel. SSN Nation, stop struggling now. That's what we do here. We want you to win. Rising tide lifts all boats. So I'll go back to my roommates were geeks. One day I come in and the guys are sitting on the couch and they're just like man, we don't have any food. We don't have nothing to eat here. And it wasn't evening. It was like 12 o'clock in the day. Now, remember, we don't live on campus. And they're sitting there like, man, we messed up. We don't have anything to eat. All of us don't have any money. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Why didn't you guys say anything? Well, they're like, well, you're never here, man. You just all the time gone. Yeah, because I live in Sacramento Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Right. Exactly. So, and then I'd come back on Monday and then go to class Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But they were like, man, yeah, we're out of food, whatever. Right. So I get up and I said, come on, man, we got to go on campus. And they're like, what? What do you mean? We don't have any money. I said, you don't need any money. Let's go. So we get in the car, go to campus. We go to the student union, and I get upstairs to the restaurant upstairs at the student union, and I tell the guys at the student union, I said, hey, these are my roommates. And they're like, what? They're like, you got roommates? I said, yeah, I know. Isn't that wild? You guys don't know nothing about, but these guys right here, they're my boys. They're geeks, but they're smart. But they're, they don't have any food. There's something, they're having an issue. But so I'm sitting there talking to them. I said, okay, these guys need to get something to eat. And they're like, are you going to eat? I said, yeah, I'm going to eat with them too. And then the guys are like, wait, you didn't have to pay for this or nothing, right? And I said, right. So you guys are going to eat. So then the guys come and the manager comes over. Well, not really manager, but students run the thing. The student comes over and I tell him, I said, hey man, these are my roommates. Whenever they come up here, you need to give them food. And they're like, okay, all right, I got you. And my roommates are like, are you serious right now? I'm like, yeah, man. So you guys ain't never going to go hungry. You don't need any money. So every time you come up here, just see these guys. And I got like 3 guys just to make sure everybody knew, because everybody had different shifts or times. So I made sure everybody connected, make sure everybody sees each other, talk to each other, shake hands. So then that way, when they come back, anytime they come back, they always could eat. So that's what my roommates, I couldn't believe it. They were just like, what do you mean you're hungry? Can't eat. So that's when I hooked them up with the student union so they can always come in there. I tried to get them hooked up at the buffet place, but the buffet place, unfortunately, they keep a track because they have to order and stuff. So I couldn't get them in the buffet place. So now these guys don't have to, if they didn't have any food at the apartment, they would always can come on campus and go get something to eat so they wouldn't starve. So it's always stuff like that, man. We always got to try and help people. Not everybody has, the ability to, life is hard. So sometimes just a little help turns out best, right? It's not any skin off my back. I can make it happen. That's how everybody should be. If there's no skin off your back and you can actually help somebody, that's how you should do it. And by the way, that's good karma. Just remember that. All right. So when good things happen, you can sometimes attribute it to how have you been treating people in the universe. This is another motivational talk that I'm having after the fact, but just think about it sometime. All right. Because when you're in that space where you're a nice person and you treat other people nice and with respect and try to help people, karma comes back. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to tell you, it does, because that's how I've been my whole life. I've always tried to help people, and even if it's to my detriment. All right. And that'll be another story another day, because the government doesn't like you helping people and taking money out of their pockets. And I shouldn't say the government. Well, it is the government too, but I just mean businesses that you may affect. And if those businesses make billions of dollars, believe me, you kick the dog, they're going to holler. And they holler a different way. They actually change laws. So we'll talk about that. I've talked about that before slightly, but we'll get into that one of these days over the next however many Fridays we have left, 150 of them, 140 of them before I officially retire from the YouTube channels and be back in Mr. Worldwide Tour. Everything should be going well. So everybody smash that like button. I gave an hour worth of stories when I could have just given one and done another 3 weeks of stories. So smash the like button, share the love with everybody else. Make sure you go to Instagram. Gabby8, thank you. The party's almost over on Instagram. And you just heard some stories. You missed out on the communications about the stock market. You missed out on the information on the Dominican Republic tax proposal. You missed out on that. But we did learn something very, very valuable. Majority of the PRM, whoever has the majority, and they have the majority. Louis Abinader, his party PRM, can pass the tax law just by themselves. They have enough votes in both houses. The deputies, the Chamber of Deputies, and the Senate. He has enough votes to make this happen. So congratulations. You guys are going to have a big time tax reform coming. And it's going to happen probably in January if they make this happen, which is scary to me. But everybody else, brace yourself. And any investors that's going to be in the Dominican Republic, anybody doing business, you better talk to your tax and accountant because you're going to need that. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. I thank everybody for being here. I love you guys. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, but no matter what you do, don't give up. Keep the faith and stay positive. All right? Because there's 70% of the population in America is living paycheck to paycheck. And next year or the year after, it's going to be 80 to 85%. Why? Because prices always go up. So your income has to go up. There's no way around it. And with all that said, make sure you stay safe. And if you need to reach me, you can always reach me at support@stopstrugglingnow.com. Support@stopstrugglingnow.com. I'll help you answer a lot of things. And Brian P., if he watches the replay, I did not go to the email tonight, so I'm going to have to go to the email on Monday. So sorry about that. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.